Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Appreciate you guys so much for coming through. We've got preseason going on here on a Thursday. And yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to be a good preseason game. We get to evaluate the Eagles and the Patriots. And so this is going to be a very fun preseason matchup. And this is week two. And unlike week twos of the past in preseason, this is really going to be one in which we can actually see a lot of these starters play. I know for the case of the Patriots here, there's quarterback competition. Both teams honestly say quarterback competition. And so we'll get to obviously see for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts as well as Joe Flacco and see, how those reps are distributed between the two of them. But it should be something real fun to watch, honestly. And then for the Patriots, obviously, there's Cam Newton, Mac Jones, and so that's going to be a fun one there. You see I've got the Patriots hat on, Patriots fan here all the way, but really looking forward to seeing how both teams are going to look here. So this is going to be a fun one, a true test to really evaluate where this Patriots offense is. And so they're fired up, and it's going to be a fun one. Carmichael Mosby, thank you so much for joining the stream. It's always good to have you here. Hope things are going great this Saturday. Tell me, how's everything going? And yes, this is going to be a very good game. What I want to see right here when it comes to Cam Newton, we know he can check down, but I do hope that he has opportunities to try to throw the ball downfield, even if it's just a couple plays. I really want to see some deep ball accuracy, some mid-range passes. I know last game he was under duress and going against Chase Young and company. Yeah, that'll do that for you. But I really want to see, him take a good look at Cam Newton to make that determination as to whether or not this is really going to be something that Mac Jones can possibly win in terms of that competition. Now, honestly, Bill Belichick, he wants to start with Cam Newton and play him until he feels that Mac Jones just, surpasses him. So it's just a matter of whenever he feels that happens. And so obviously something like this is going to be really huge in terms of determining where these two quarterbacks are going to be. So I think we're going to learn a lot right now about where Mac Jones' development is. Cam Newton, this is going to be a really big evaluation for Cam Newton today, honestly, on the Patriots side. Then for the Eagles, there's Jalen Hurts, obviously. And yeah, Jalen Hurts, he hears all the quarterback talk. Everybody's always talking about, who should be the better quarterback here. Some people say they should have kept Carson Wentz. Others say that, they should trade for Deshaun Watson if his situation clears up. Others even believe that Joe Flacco should get the job. And so Jalen Hurts, he's hearing all of that. And I know that he wants to go out there and prove himself. He got pushed out of Alabama, lost his job there, but he's a competitor. He's someone that bounced back, had a tremendous year when he was at Oklahoma. And yeah, he had a few good games last year, although a small sample size. And so he's going to have to put it all together. And this is a great opportunity to show the fan base that he is indeed that quarterback. So this is going to be really great for both sides. They picked a really good matchup for this Thursday night game, honestly. Let's see. Carmichael says he's doing good. Yeah, everything is going great over here. I'm always glad to see some preseason going on here. And so, yeah, this is going to be a fun one, and I cannot wait for this one to get started. There's so many things that you want to take a look at when it comes to this game right here. How's the offensive line going to hold up in comparison to how they held up week one? I mean, this is week two. This is the actual dress rehearsal games for both of these teams. So when it comes to preseason, there's not a better preseason than when you have the one with the starters who are going to play a good amount of the game. So this is as close to regular season as you're going to get without an actual regular season game. And I am good about that. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who's tuning in for this stream as we're getting ready to see this game here. I know Devontae Smith, he's going to be out there. I don't think he's going to be out there for too long, but we should get to see him for at least a little bit today. So that's going to be good for Eagle fans out there to be able to see your first round pick in action. I know that's what they're tuning in for. So it's going to be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. In terms of a couple, just going through the injuries list real quick, while we have some time. Some of the guys that's definitely out, Jordan Phillips, he's on the reserve COVID list. Let's see, guard Justin Pugh, he's out. He was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list Wednesday after he tested positive. Let's see. And then they have I'm sorry, these are for the Cardinals there. And so, but yeah, as we can see, Cam Newton's out there warming up. This is a big day for Cam Newton, honestly. Very big day. And so, let's see. All right, so I've got the Patriots list pulled up, but let's see. Carmichael says that he got, oh man, I hate to hear that, man. Hope it's nothing serious and stuff like that. What'd you injure? Yeah, hopefully it's nothing serious and something that won't take long to recover from. But man, sorry to hear that. Let's see. All right, so yeah, as far as the Patriots, we know that the tight end room right now, they're going through a lot when it comes to injuries at the tight end position, honestly. You've got your Hunter Henry, he's questionable right now with the shoulder. Janu Smith, he's questionable as well with his ankle on this one. And then Troy Famagali, he's also, let's see, he's got an undisclosed, and he cleared waivers and reverted to the Patriots IR list. And so, yeah, the tight end position, definitely there's quite a few guys right now on that list. You also throw Dalte Keene in there as well. And, yeah, so the Patriots, they're going to be thin on tight end tonight. And then looking at the wide receiver position, Marvin Hall, he's on IR right now. He was put on IR Tuesday. Then defensive end Chase Winovich, he's questionable. So is Nick Foles. He's questionable. Nick Foles, the place kicker. As we have this kickoff right now, and it is going to be Eagles football to start off. So we'll get to see Jalen Hurts and company go out there first, and also see our first couple action of Devontae Smith as well in this one. Oh, man, both of your legs. Oh, man, sorry to hear that, man. That sounds brutal right there to get injured during – and this happened at practice. You got injured at practice. Oh, man, that's tough to hear right there, man. Wishing you a speedy recovery, honestly, man, but that's really tough. And so I imagine that you have to get that evaluated to see how long we're talking about in terms of recovery. But, man, that's got to be real tough. Let's see. All right, so the Eagles are going to start off, and it looks like Joe Flacco's getting the first chance here. Okay, so they hand the ball off, and that's a 10-yard pickup right there. Right out the gate, the Eagles offensive line going out there and picking up this. Let's see, it's going to be second and short. So there should be a couple of inches. And that's Miles Sanders getting some carries here. Again, this is Joe Flacco starting off the game. All right, so that is going to be first down. And you see Smith lined up number 6. All right, Flacco's looking to pass. Checks it down. All right, it's another first down there for the Eagles. And so, yeah, the Eagles this year, they are really going to need Jalen Hurts to take a huge leap this upcoming year. If he can go out there, or either Flacco, whoever they put at quarterback, if they can go out there and find success at the quarterback position, that'll make this team much better, honestly. Oh, man, what a terrible snap that was. Ball went way over Flacco's head. And then Judon there with the hit. And so it's a battle of who's going to recover it. And it looks like the Patriots have it. So right off the gate, the Eagles picked up a couple first downs, but, man, that was a high snap. That one right there is clearly on the center there. As you watch the replay here, yeah, ball went way over his head. He just threw it up there and then just said the heck with it. And so, obviously, Flacco picked it up, tried to make a play with it rather than just end up falling on the ball like you normally would. And so, Patriots were able to capitalize off of the mistake of the Eagles snapper on that one. Let's see. Carmichael says, okay, so you can walk, but you can't run. Yeah, I mean, when hurting both your legs, that's honestly a positive right there, honestly. So definitely hoping that you'll be able to run soon. But I know as a receiver, yeah, that's tough. Let's see. Damian Harris gets the first carry. That looks to be about a 4 or 5 yard gain right there. And again, this is the Patriots capitalizing off of the mistake that the snapper for the Eagles had. Ball went all over Flacco's head. He tried to pick it up to make a play, and Patriots were able to capitalize off of that. So now they've got great field position, and we'll see if Cam Newton and company will be able to finish in the end zone. This is a good opportunity to see the goal line offense of the Patriots as well as the goal line defense for the Eagles. And look at Damian Harris. That's a touchdown, no doubt about that. And so just like that, and hey, that's how you lose ball games. Turnovers will cost you. And so that's obviously something that I'm pretty sure the coaching staff is getting on their center about, taking a snap like that. I mean, he was already obviously in the shotgun, and he just completely oversnapped him. Like, I don't know why he snapped it that high. But yeah, Damian Harris for the touchdown run. That was fairly easy right there. And at this point of the game in this preseason, we're still seeing a whole bunch of starters. I know the Eagles, they've got Joe Flacco out there, but they want to see how Joe Flacco looks with the first team, because their coach did state that this was an open competition between their quarterbacks. So they want to see how Joe Flacco does with the first team. So there we have it. The Patriots are able to score on that one. And as for the Eagles, I mean, that counts as a turnover, but that's just something that happens in the preseason from time to time. I mean, especially when you have, different guys coming in, snapping the ball. And so that's obviously why you have these preseason games, because you don't want this to carry over to the regular season. Something like that could really devastate a team, because they basically gave away 7 points right off the bat to the Patriots. Let's see. Cosby says that you think he did something to your knees, and so hopefully that's not the case. But definitely do keep me updated once you find out exactly what they say in terms of the diagnostic. But hopefully that's not the case. But man, that's got to be real tough to hurt both legs on one play. That must have been a brutal play, honestly, to hurt them both at the same time. I mean, that's the kind of luck that the Jets experienced earlier today in their camp. I mean, you've got guys going out there getting hurt left and right. But obviously, this time of the year, it's extremely brutal out there. I know there's a lot of competition and stuff, and especially if you're talking about practice, most of these guys are getting hurt in practice. So, yeah, it's a tough time right now. But yeah, although the Patriots were able to score on that offensive drive, I know that they're still going to really want to see what Cam Newton can do in terms of really just driving the ball downfield. I mean, and it's not just evaluating the quarterbacks too. They really need to take a good look at this receiving core and see what exactly do they have at the receiver position, because we talk so much about the quarterback position, and we know how important receiving is. And you look at the Eagles as well. I mean, they did draft Devontae Smith, and that's positive. And he's not going to they're not going to ask him to do too much tonight. I mean, he's just coming back from the injury, just want to get a taste of what, that NFL experience inside of an actual game is like, but you really don't want to press him too much. But both teams really want to evaluate their receivers and see, who's going to step up and rise up to the occasion. All right, so we have another kickoff here by the Patriots. All right, looks like we're going to have a return by the Eagles. And he takes it to about the 21-yard line. And so we're going to see Joe Flacco and company get another shot out there. Hopefully the center will not have another mishap like last time for the Eagles. Okay, so yeah, this just in. So it seems like Jalen Hurts will actually not be playing today. He has some type of an illness, and so he will not be suiting up today for the Eagles. So you're going to see a nice evaluation of Joe Flacco throughout this game. Okay, so Miles Sanders. And again, probably you guys heard it, but I don't have the audio on, because YouTube would not let me have that audio on. So they may have mentioned it during the game already. But yeah, Miles Sanders, he's very important for this team. Like when he's healthy and 100%, this Eagles offense is a lot different. So keeping Miles Sanders healthy is another key to the Eagles' success. And honestly, keeping that offense healthy in general, that was one thing that they weren't able to do last year. So if they can keep their team healthy, that'd be really good for those guys. And that was Jordan Howard with the carry. I remember when Jordan Howard first was with the Chicago Bears. And so, I mean, there were such high hopes for him down there in Chicago. So it's a good backup running back for the Eagles to have. You have a guy that, even early in his career, he comes with a good amount of experience. See, 3rd and 1, hand it off. I don't think he got that. I think he was short. Yes, looking like that's going to be 4th down right there. So that's a big stop right there for the Patriots, and run defense is certainly an area that they wanted to see some improvement in this season. Let's see, but practice other than that was well. Let's see. Yeah, and so, hey, practice be brutal, I'm telling you. It really do be brutal. Let's see, 4th and 1, and it looks like they're going to line up to punt this ball. Let's see if the snap, if there's any issue. All right, nice punt. Let's see if we get the return here. Okay, and Gunner's trying to make a play, and he's going to be stopped at about the 25. A lot of movement, but he really didn't go too far there. And again, this score is 7-0 right now, Patriots up. King, thank you so much for joining the stream. Glad to have you here. What's going on? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming through. Whenever King is here, I know it's going to be a good stream. I mean, that's definitely confirmation right there. But yeah, how are you doing on a Thursday, man? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hey, I always try to put the team up there who's, playing at home. So, I know it looks a little weird to see an Eagles background with a Patriots hat here, but yeah, I always try to rep the home team in the background, give everybody a chance, as my, channel is pretty neutral in terms of, representing a lot of teams. So try to keep it that way. And so, yep, I mean, hey, it's a Thursday. Everybody's getting close to the weekend. We've got week 2 of the preseason, so we're getting to take a look at a lot more starters for a lot longer than we normally would this time of the year. So that's always great right there. So really excited about that. But want to take this time and thank everybody who's joining the stream. Really appreciate you guys so much for coming through for this. And yeah, this is going to be a good one. I mean, really be sure that you're paying attention to what you see from particularly the quarterback position, the secondary as well, and the wide receiver position. Those are going to be some key ones, as well as offensive line, honestly. Those are going to be ones that coaching staffs are going to be really paying attention to in this game, as both teams, they've, like the Eagles last year at the receiver position, they saw so many receivers have to play because of injuries. And so, when that happens, you get a lot of guys that do come in and get experiences, but they need to know who's going to step up this year. Devontae Smith, he's been hurt, but it's a good sign to see him out there. I'm happy for him that he's out there. I know the kind of, career he had at Alabama, there's super high expectations for him. But just to see him out there on the field right now, that's a positive sign for him. And obviously the competition between Cam Newton and Mac Jones, that's one that everybody wants to see. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Who do I have winning this? Well, you already know. I've got the Patriots winning this one. And I just feel that, honestly, between Cam, Mac Jones, and stuff, I think the Patriots will end up winning this one. But it's going to be more so about evaluations tonight. But I've got the Pats winning this one. Best believe that. But who do you got winning this game? All right, so now we see Cam Newton, 1st and 10. Now he's at his own 26-yard line. He play action fakes. Let's see. He's looking. He throws it. Okay. Okay, nice little dot inside there, but it looks like, is that an interception or? Yeah, let me see the replay on that one. All right, looks like he was going to Myers on that play. Yeah, at first it looked like Myers had it. All right, so the Pats got that one. Damian Harris, last carry he had was for a touchdown, and so he picked up like a yard or two. Let's see who does King have on this one. All right, so King also has the Patriots winning this. Yep, it's the Patriot way, right? But yeah, I think the Patriots will win this one. At least I'm hoping that's the case. But I'm hoping it's a good game, though. I really want to see a good game. Let's see, Cam Newton dropping back. He's looking. All right, so he fires that one. Completed. And what a catch that was right there by Kevin Bourne, the free agent over from the San Francisco 49ers. And I've been waiting to see these guys that the Patriots picked up in free agency at the receiver position. I didn't get to see them too much last week, so I'm really glad to see that right there. And they're really letting Cam air it out, so that's encouraging to see. I mean, everybody's talking about, last year with Cam Newton, obviously the offense that they ran, the Patriots did not have a lot of weapons last year. He fires that one in for a first down to Myers. And so Myers, in my opinion, was really the best receiver on the Patriots roster last season. I mean, obviously Julian Edelman was hurt, and we know, with all the injuries and stuff, it was starting to add up. But yeah, Cam Newton really had to run the offense the way he did because, quite frankly, Patriots did not give him a lot to work with. And that goes before Cam was there, even when Tom Brady was previously there. That's why Brady didn't want to come back. It was because Patriots didn't have a lot of receivers there. And so I did see N'Keal Harry, and I want to see if they can feature him in this offense some, just to see if this is going to be something that they can work out. All right, they're forced to call a timeout before the delay of the game. But, yeah, these couple passes right here, this is what Bill Belichick and company wanted to see from Cam Newton. Just, go out there, don't do too much, but just execute the plays when they're there. Now, a big difference between this game and last game was that last game, there was a lot of pressure in his face. I see this game, he's able to step up in the pocket, and they've got a clean pocket around him. So the offensive line is protected much better in this one. But then again, with the Washington football team as the first team that you play, that their defensive line is extremely good. So that was a tough challenge last week. But this one right here, his offensive line so far is giving him time to make these throws. And these receivers, they believe in Cam Newton. All right, so we've got 1st and 10, ball at the 21-yard line. All right. And they toss it to Damian Harris. And Damian, yeah, he has to wiggle to get a loss of 1 yard on that play. Eagles are ready for that one. Let's see. All right, so let me go ahead and pose a question up here. Meanwhile, it's 2nd and 11. Cam Newton's dropping back, throws it down low to James White. Yeah, it was pretty big when the Patriots were able to retain James White. I know that, perhaps Tampa, before they brought Giovanni Bernard over there, that they probably had some interest in his services. I thought after last year he probably would be elsewhere, but he's, as loyal as they come. And so for him to return to the Patriots, that was pretty big in terms of what you're getting from a leadership perspective, experience, and then obviously what he can do catching out the backfield. So that was big right there. 3rd and 6, Cam Newton's out the shotgun. Can he get this first down? Yeah, they were looking for James White on that one. At first, it looked like there was going to be something there. I'm not going to lie. It looked like there was going to be a good amount of space right there. But then the defense closed and made the stop. Let's see. King says that Cam is nice with it. Yeah, not bad for the proclaimed check down king, if I do add so myself. But yeah, I mean, if you give him time, we remember what Cam Newton was able to do last year in games against Seattle, Buffalo, outside of when COVID really just impacted him. And man, what a bad miss on that field goal right there by Norton. Yeah, you can't kick like that and expect to hang around. That's terrible miss. Terrible miss. But yeah, definitely I'm seeing a lot of good stuff right here from Cam Newton. As long as Cam plays like this, then yeah, Mac Jones will be on the bench until Cam's no longer playing like this. I don't think that he'll be able to do like last year where he had stretches where he was just really bad last year. But if he can continue to keep it at this level and just, be consistent out there, consistently good, that's all they're asking for. They're not asking for him to go out there and be the Cam that, won the league MVP or anything like that and took Carolina to the Super Bowl. They don't need that version of Cam. They just need for him to be what we're seeing right now. Just step in the pocket, make the throws, hit your receivers, and that's it. Let's see. When it comes to the Seattle Seahawks, yeah, we know what DK Metcalf brings. We know what Tyler Lockett brings. We know what all those guys bring right there. And the offensive side of the ball is going to be good. The addition of Gabe Jackson, I do like that. Defensively, I think the Seahawks are going to be pretty solid all around. I mean, they should definitely be a playoff team. There's no reason why, unless injuries hit them hard, that they should not be a playoff team. They should be a team that's in that very conversation towards the end, kind of similar to last year, I think. So, yeah, definitely expecting good things from these Seattle Seahawks. Let's see. But yeah, my favorite part so far of the preseason has just been being able to watch all of these rookie quarterbacks go out there. I mean, I've seen a lot of them have success, especially the first round pick quarterbacks. I mean, their fan bases have such high expectations for these guys. And I think a lot of them went out there and showed us just a sample, like, okay, we have something that we can, hope for. Obviously, it's the preseason, so you never read too much into that. And by the time the regular season comes, things will be a lot different. But in terms of just exciting the fan base, I think a lot of those rookies did that their first outing out there. So that was always encouraging. But yeah, so we'll get to see the Eagles again on offense after the big stop thanks to the missed field goal there by Norton on their field goal attempt. So let's see. We still got 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go. It's another possession in which Joe Flacco will get to go out there and lead these Eagles again. Jalen Hurts, he had some type of illness, and so that's why we're not seeing Jalen Hurts in there. So, it's a good opportunity for Joe Flacco. I know the coaching staff did say that this is an open competition, so this is clearly going to be something that, it's a great evaluation standpoint to see what you really have in Joe Flacco, who does a play action fake. He steps up, he throws it to the running back. Yeah, that's no good right there. That hit the ground. And there's a flag on the play. Let's see. Carmichael Mosby says his favorite part is the Steelers winning. Hey, the Steelers right now, aren't they like 2-0 in the preseason right now? I know it's the preseason, but still, they're technically the only team right now that can say that they're 2-0 in the preseason as of right now. But yeah, the Steelers, they saw a lot of encouraging things from obviously Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins. They saw some good stuff there from their backup quarterbacks to where they should feel very confident with their depth chart heading into the season. All right, so Joe Flacco snaps the ball. They hand it off to, I believe that would be Jordan Howard, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and he gains 2 yards on that one. Judon and company on the stop. And so, yeah, 2nd and 18, thanks to that earlier penalty right there. And yeah, for the Eagles, they really want to just make sure that, one, they don't have any more snaps go over Joe Flacco's head. As the blitz is coming on that play, they picked it up. Joe Flacco got the ball out quickly. That's what you want to see, and that's what you expect when you have a veteran like Joe Flacco in the game. He knew that the blitz was going to come, and so therefore he went ahead, threw it to the back out the backfield, and was able to capitalize and gain some yards and set yourself up for a third and more manageable 3rd and 9, as opposed to trying to go deep and not getting it or turning it over or something like that. But that's what you expect from a veteran quarterback. And let's see, 3rd and 9. Let's see. Looks like they're going to line up in the shotgun formation again. Again, this is at their own 27-yard line. All right, so the Patriots send 4. Oh man, but they got stunts and everything. And Flacco was able to throw that ball. It looked like Devontae Smith was going to come away with the catch, but at the last second, he ended up dropping that, and that's going to be an incompletion. Again, Devontae, coming off of that injury, and so he really didn't get too much practice in terms of just up in camp up until now. But they did say that they weren't going to use him too much in this. So clearly, they're going to monitor this situation to make sure that he doesn't get too many snaps. They don't want him hurting it or something like that. But yeah, clearly he wants to go out there and make a play, show the fans something, and I understand that and I respect that a lot. Let's see. So about the Colts, honestly, the Colts right now, when it comes to trying to evaluate them, you have to start right now with what's playing out with the quarterback competition there for the backup spot, because that is super important for them, because what the Colts have right now in Carson Wentz, that's, a question mark, because the one they need for him to practice, and I know that for them, they want him out there at least 2 weeks prior to the opening week if he's to go out there and actually get to start on opening week. So when you're talking about Carson Wentz and his situation, if he does miss a game or two, I think the Colts will lose those games that he's not in. I saw some good stuff from Jacob Eason. So as of right now, I would be leaning towards him as opposed to Sam Ehlinger. Sam Ehlinger, he bounced back from that nasty interception he threw earlier. He did bounce back from that, and he had a good finish. But Jacob Eason seemed like if the offensive line can protect, he can make a lot of throws out there, is what my impression was from that first preseason. Obviously, preseason and regular season are two different things. And so, but as soon as they get Carson Wentz back, they've got the defense. They've got a boatload of running backs. They've got some solid receivers. So the Colts, they should be a team that can contend, but they've got a tough schedule they got to overcome, as well as make sure that the quarterback position is healthy this upcoming year for the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, so the Giants, so many questions with the Giants, but also reason for optimistic for their fan base. What they did in the secondary, I like what they've done with that, with their defensive side of the ball. I like those moves. The question is Daniel Jones is he really the guy down there for the Giants? And they're going to find that out this upcoming year, because if he doesn't go out there and produce, then, they're probably going to be looking elsewhere. But, I feel like this is a make or break year for him. So he's got to go out there and show what he can do. They got a boatload of talent now, especially at the wide receiver position. That's a strength of this team. You look at the running back position, Saquon Barkley, when will he be healthy? That's a big question right there, because having Saquon out there is going to be huge for this team, and you can't just have him out there and not be 100%. He needs to be out there and be the Saquon that they drafted him to be in order for this to really give the Giants a chance. But, hey, they'll be able to go out there and compete in games. So I will say that. They'll be able to go out there and compete this year. Now, how many they win, that's going to come up to Daniel Jones and his development. He had some pretty big games last year. I know when they played Tampa Bay, that was a really good one right there. Daniel Jones showed that he had some wheels until he got close to the end zone, then he just stumbled. But that should be fun to see this upcoming year, to see how the Giants are going to do this upcoming season. Yeah, for the Rams, I was super high on the Rams. I felt like that Cam Akers, injury, that's going to be one that cost them a game or two, honestly. So I think the Rams are going to be a team that can go out there and win about a good, 12 games, I'm thinking now. Before that, I was thinking that they could possibly be a 14-win team. As the Patriots carry the ball here, Damian Harris is getting a lot of work tonight. Fought for it there, probably gained about a good 4 yards right there, kept his legs moving, so good play right there. But that's what I'm thinking about the Rams right there. And and as we look at that, just look at that hole right there. Then obviously Damian Harris fighting for those. Okay, a gain of 5 on that one, so it'll be 2nd and 5. Cam Newton's going to line up under center. Let's see, Bourne is in motion. But tonight we really want to see these connections between Cam and his wide receivers. Play action fake. Cam steps up. Okay, he throws it to James White, who secures the catch at the last second. He threw it and he bobbled it. And they secured the catch there. Let's see, the Hornets. I mean, how can we talk about the Hornets here and not talk about how they're doing in the summer league? I mean, these Hornets, they've been like one of the fun teams to watch here over summer league. I will say that, and obviously what they have with their young core, I'll say, is really exciting and encouraging for the future of the Hornets. So I like this team more so for what they'll become over the future if they're able to keep everybody there and keep adding to the pieces. But yeah, this is going to be a fun team that should, still contend for a playoff spot. As Cam Newton steps up and throws it. All right, and that looks like Sony Michel with the reception, gain of about 6 yards on that play. Let's see. So this will be second down and about 4 or second and 3. Yeah, so the 76ers, I mean, hey, Joel Embiid, he got paid, so congratulations to him. He honestly deserves that money. And so anytime you talk about the 76ers, two typical conversations are going to be had. It's the Patriots snap the ball, and all right, so Sony Michel is able to pick up that first down. But yeah, two types of conversations come up when you talk about the 76ers. Joel Embiid, we know what he can do when he's healthy out there. The problem is you got to keep him healthy. I mean, we saw that he was able to be healthy and what he looks like when he's healthy. We've seen that recently. So you want to continue to have that, keep him healthy. Aside from that, obviously the Ben Simmons situation, that's one in which they're going to have to find out what they want to do. Do they want to trade him? Do they want to keep him? All that stuff. But that's certainly a situation that it's going to come down to for them. Meanwhile, Cam Newton hands the ball off. Sony Michel is fighting for yards here. So Sony's out there fighting for some extra yards. He's like, don't forget about me. And so, yeah, Sony Michel on that one, he gains about 5 yards on that one. And let's see. But, yeah, I mean, so far right now, Cam Newton has been very solid. I mean, 7 of 8 passing for 75 yards. He has looked very solid so far as they hand the ball off again to Sony Michel. And yeah, the offensive line right now is winning that battle. They are winning that battle. Okay, for the Washington football team, this is going to be a fun team to watch. I love the defense, Chase Young and company. They've got a lot of great D linemen. They've got a pretty good defense in general. And so they're going to be a fun team that I think their defense is just going to get better as the season continues to progress. And so as long as they stay healthy, that defensive side of the ball is going to be a fierce one. And then you look at the offensive side of the ball. They knew what they needed to address in the offseason. That was the quarterback position. And bringing in Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was the perfect fit for them. You got a quarterback that comes in, and he's just a baller. I mean, he goes out there, he has fun. He enjoys it. You can tell that football is something that he enjoys. He makes great decisions out there. He's electric when he has, opportunities to go out there and make some plays. We saw what he can do for Miami. So if they're getting that version of Ryan Fitzpatrick, then it's going to be fun to see what they can do. Obviously, they picked up guys like Samuel coming over from the Carolina Panthers, Curtis Samuel. That was a great pickup right there. They still got Gibson, all those guys. So there's a lot to like about this Washington football team, and they're going to be competing for this division title next year as Cam Newton drops back off the play action fake, throws it to Jacoby Myers, and touchdown, Patriots. Able to keep them feet in, and what a throw there by Cam Newton. And so, hey, Newton's out there showing, like he should be the guy to open up the season. Now, I know that there's, people out there that probably don't agree with that, but hey, you're giving him better weapons now than what he had last year, and I think that's going to be the difference ultimately when you look at this Patriots team this upcoming season. They're not the same team by any means. They're a lot better, and I don't think a lot of people realize just how good this Patriot team is. But good job by Myers. I mean, Myers has certainly been a receiver that's been a constant for these Patriots over the last couple of years. I mean, and Norton goes out there and misses the extra point as well. It's just not his night. He's missing field goals, missing extra points. It's really just not his night at all. And the Blazers, how could you talk about the Blazers without mentioning Dame time? I mean, it is Dame time. And, hey, he's definitely one of the most exciting players to watch in the NBA, one of my personal favorite players. I like the way that he plays. I like his state of mind, his toughness out there. Obviously he needs to get a championship at some point of his career, or at least that's the narrative around it. But hey, he is a tremendous player. Him, CJ, guys like that. So yeah, this is a fun team. But obviously, they want to make sure that they're not just a team that just continues to get to the playoffs and then just don't produce once they get there. And so, do I feel like they've made enough of an adjustment to where they can be better than what they were last year? I'd like to say yes, but I still haven't seen it. I mean, obviously, we saw how better the Lakers got this offseason, and we know about the rest of the conference. So that's going to be tough right there. But yeah, they're still a fun team, and they're a team that can match up with just about anybody and give a team a run for their money. That is for sure. Yeah, so for the Chargers, as the Patriots kick off the ball here, when it comes to the Chargers, I mean, Justin Herbert, him to Keenan Allen, that is going to be a tremendous combination this upcoming year. And not to mention, Mike Williams, he's out there playing for his contract. So, yeah, this Chargers team, Austin Eckler, if he can stay healthy this year, hey, this Chargers team, they got a lot of talent. I'm telling you, they're going to be a playoff team this upcoming year, and it's going to be exciting to watch. So, really looking forward to that. Right now, we've got 1st and 10, and the Eagles are going to go out there again. We still see Smith out there. Joe Flacco's in the shotgun. He's at his own 19-yard line. Snaps the ball. He's looking, throws it, and it's completed. Yep, so they pick up the first down, but there is a flag on the play. Let's see if this will be on the defense. The Clippers, and so, oh man, Clippers Nation, they might be packing it in for next year, honestly. I mean, given the trade that they did, giving away Pat Bev, and we know how important Pat Bev has been for the Clippers for quite some time. So when you have a guy like Pat Bev on your team, that just gives an extra edge to that team. And that's something that I feel like this team really strived off of, especially last year, the toughness that he provides. He's a guy that if you're the opponent, he's someone that really just gets, you're like, hey, I don't want to have this guy guard me the entire game. I mean, he's a nightmare having him guard you. So for them to just give him up like that, I do like, the addition of, bringing in Bledsoe. But, yeah, giving up Pat Bev, and then not to mention Kawhi and his recovery. I think the Clippers next year, they're going to be good, still can make the playoffs and stuff. But, yeah, in terms of championship, I don't see that happening next year for them. And in large part is because of this team right here, the Los Angeles Lakers. I love what they did. I mean, given their cap situation, obviously when they brought in Westbrook, paying 3 guys the max, you're going to be short on cash, but they was able to turn that into bringing in a whole ton of veterans. And this has basically become the team that says, look, if you're late in your career or you're someone that wants to get a championship, this team is for you. Like, basically they were holding up an open ad, basically saying, like, look, this is a team that you're going to want to go out there and really just, give yourself the best chance to go out there and win. And I like what the Lakers did. They're definitely my early pick to win the championship next year. So there you have it. Let's see, The Ohio State University. Where do I begin? I mean, starting off, like the Buckeyes, they have a lot of talent, especially at that wide receiver position. I know that they've got 2 receivers that's considered nationwide to be 2 of the top 5 receivers in the college football game that's returning. So that's going to be great for them. You look at their schedule, there's not a team on their schedule that's going to be favored whenever Ohio State plays them. And so their toughest game may arguably be against Oregon this upcoming season. And yeah, I think Ohio State's going to get that one. So I've got Ohio State getting back to the college football playoffs. Obviously, there's things that Ohio State's going to have to figure out in terms of who's going to be the starting quarterback. And then once we figure that out, he's going to be a young guy because they've got a lot of young guys competing. I believe it was a 3-way competition at the quarterback position for Ohio State. So they're going to have to really grow up quickly. And when I say quickly, I mean before conference games get started. Otherwise, because that's really the one position that they got to make sure that they have secured this upcoming year. They can't rely on Justin Fields anymore. He's no longer there. He's been solid. So they're going to need one of those young guys to step up. Let's see. And for the Beavers, are we talking like Oregon State or Yeah, which Beavers team are we talking about there? And so we'll get back to that one. And yeah, for the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, you've got to love their odds, coming back off the championship. I know a lot of people probably thought that that's going to be a one-year thing, but anytime you've got a guy who just figured out how to win a championship the way that Giannis did, then yeah, you're really going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to contend for that championship, because most of the guys, the important pieces, I should say, on that team, they're coming back, and now they've got a taste of what it is to be a champion, and you can never underestimate the heart of a champion. And so now that Giannis has that taste of being a champion, I'm telling you, this Milwaukee Bucks team, they're going to be in that conversation for a while now. So get used to it, because he's not going anywhere. He's committed to them. And so are most of his teammates. They're committed to the team as well. They want to see a repeat. So they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be another team that does great in the regular season again, and one of the teams that's still going to be, alive when it comes to the playoffs, late in the playoffs next year again. All right, let's see if that's a catch. Yeah, that looks like an incompletion right there. All right, so it's 3rd down and 10 for the Eagles. Let's see if Joe Flacco can get them a first down. See if the Patriots can generate some pass rush here. All right, incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Smith. Now, that's something that we saw him do very well at Bama. Looks like there's an Eagle player that is hurt right now. He's holding his leg. Yeah, you've got the medical staff looking at him right now. So let's see. How did he get hurt on that one? Yeah, looks like he planted his foot, and then, yeah, he went down on that. So meanwhile, they do have a penalty there for roughing the passer. So that's going to be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Oh, yeah, you see that one. Yeah, you can't do that. They're not going to let you do that. You've got to know that the ball's already been released. All right, so let's see. When it comes to Oregon, I don't know their schedule off the top of my head when it comes to Oregon, but Oregon is certainly a team that, that they have the talent of a top 10 team. And so they're going to be a fun team to watch, especially when it comes to football. Been impressed with what they've been able to do in basketball as of recent as well when you think about Oregon sports. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do this upcoming season, but they're going to be a fun team to watch. Yeah, so when it comes to the Wizards, obviously, the change at the head coach, this is a team that they are looking to do what they can to really just salvage and continue to try to put pieces together to continuously improve. They do have some more work that needs to be done, but in terms of the foundation that they currently have, you got to like their foundation, and they have some pieces to work with. They just got to continue to improve from there. Let's see. My man King is so focused on these questions here. He's like, what quarter is it? It is currently the second quarter, but it's like very early in the second quarter, about 14 minutes and 49 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. And so far in this one, Cam Newton has been doing one heck of a job, honestly. I mean, going 8 of 9, but we're not just talking about just throwing it to the backfield, although, some of those passes were obviously, but we saw some good passes from him. He's firing the ball, he's standing in the pocket, stepping up, and he's doing really good off of play action, especially. So that's what I really want to see. I really want to see him, how he's going to look when he stands in the pocket and throw the ball. I mean, it's the preseason, so it's a really good chance. I understand that last year he didn't have much of a chance to learn the playbook prior to when they brought him in, and he had to go out there immediately and learn the playbook on the fly. But yeah. All right, so yeah, they've got the stretcher out there. So you never like to see that, especially in a preseason game. Guys out here trying to, not just earn roster spots, but also, on the depth chart, prove themselves, all kind of competition going on. And then to see something like that, that's really hard. But you see the whole team is going to him, letting him know it's going to be all right. And we hope that, the best for him and that the news won't be as devastating as it looks right now. Let's see. Golden State Warriors. Obviously, Steph Curry. He had the Warriors on the cusp of making the playoffs last year. And had it been a regular NBA year in which we didn't have a thing called the play-in games, they would have reached it. But yeah, Golden State, they are a great team with Steph Curry. Can't wait to see Clay back out there. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. So yeah, we're all definitely hoping that he's okay. I know his teammates out there, wishing the best of luck. And I know he's going to have a rehab, that he's going to have to continue to go to once we figure out what exactly it is, but definitely wishing the best on that. And the Sports Blitz is joined the stream. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Really appreciate you for coming through. And so, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out his channel, definitely do check out his channel. He produces a lot of NFL content, so definitely do check out his channel. And yeah, you definitely enjoy what he did. He's definitely trying to reach his goal now of getting to 400 subs right now. So definitely help him out if you're viewing this and sub to my man, the Sports Blitz. And so, yeah, definitely. And so. But yeah, hey, Devontae Smith, he had that reception. I know he's been coming close. He's been coming close all game long. I know he wants to go out there and shine in his first debut out there in the NFL in front of the cameras and stuff outside of practice, in which even that's been very limited. So it's good to see there again. And again, if you guys are just joining, Jalen Hurts did not start this game because of an illness. So therefore, Joe Flacco's been taking all the first team reps so far. So that's why you see Joe Flacco win, because this is the second preseason game. So we're seeing a lot more of the starters actually in there. Of course. Am I enjoying the Patriots? Of course. I mean, we're up 13-0 right now. I mean, now, sure, the ball did go over Joe Flacco's head, and so that pretty much laid it up for the Patriots to score by putting him in the goal line. But as a Pats fan, I saw many times last year where a drive was stalled right around that red zone, area for the Patriots. And so it's important to see that they are able to finish when they get close, because that was really the difference. When we had Tom Brady, we always scored for the most part near the goal line, or at least we knew there was a great chance that we were going to come away with some points. And so, I mean, the only flaw that we've had so far in this game has been our kicker, Norton. That's really it. And King says the Eagles. And so, speaking of the Eagles, Joe Flacco throws it on the run. No good. But yeah, clearly that's a play that they designed for someone like Jalen Hurts to run. But Joe Flacco's out there showing he can still throw on the run to some degree. Yes, they are looking good. They really are looking good, But yeah, I was really hoping to see Jalen Hurts play and then see how our defense would have looked against a mobile quarterback. Because it's one thing as a Patriot fan over the years, you've seen that mobile quarterbacks have really caused a good amount of problems against historic Patriots teams. And I know that this defense looks to be a lot faster than Patriot teams that I've seen over the years. All right, excellent way that they came to the ball on that one as Scott with the carry. Scott, he had some big games now last year. If you seen him in fantasy football, you know what I'm talking about. He certainly had some big games last year. Let's see. The Sports Blitz says Cam is dicing them up right now. Yeah, when Cam has been out there, Cam has been really good. I mean, he's gone 8 of 9 for 103 yards, even through a passing touchdown. I know the fan base, they don't like to count as rushing touchdowns. If it's not a passing touchdown, then they typically don't count it. But that was good to see that he went out there and threw a touchdown. And so I wonder how much more of Cam Newton will we see before we actually get to see Mac Jones, given the success that Cam Newton's been having so far. And it's going to be 4th down for these Eagles. I would personally go for it. That's just what I would do. I mean, it's the preseason. Situational football is an opportunity to see what your offense can do with Joe Flacco on a 4th and 3. So that's what I personally would draw up. Let's see if they're going to try to get the ball to Devontae Smith as well. I know the rookie's looking for an opportunity to make a play. Let's see if they put him in position to go out there and try to make a play. But this is going to be big right here. Can the Patriots defense make a stop, or will Joe Flacco and company get the first or more? Flacco throws it up, and it's almost picked off, but nevertheless, it is a stop right there. I mean, when I saw Flacco through that ball, I thought that was going to be a touchdown when I saw that ball come out until I saw the safety got to it. That looked like a good throw initially right there. But excellent read right there by the safety, good coverage by the corner, and there you have it. It's going to be Patriots ball again. And King says, yeah, I mean, yeah, we actually were supposed to, and I've been meaning to get you to hit you up on Discord and stuff as well. But yeah, definitely we can connect about that for sure. And so, yeah, matter of fact, I know last time we spoke about this, I gave you my Instagram. So if you have IG, I'll put that up real quick. Feel free to add me on that. But yeah, and so yeah, I got my IG up there. So add me on IG, and yeah, let's talk this one out and get that set up, because yeah, we can definitely use that. Because I got big plans for this channel, and definitely I've got some big plans coming up. Over this weekend, I got a couple things I want to do. You're going to be seeing a lot of stream from me this Saturday and this Sunday. Saturday is going to be more so tailored to some more of what this is right now in terms of actually streaming the preseason games. I know we've got the Bills and the Bears. I know that's the 1 o'clock game. Looking forward to streaming that one. 4 o'clock game. Not sure if I'm going to stream the 4 o'clock game or if I'll stream a 7 o'clock game. It probably won't be both, but it might be one or the other. But that's what I'll do with that. But outside of that, I'm definitely going to be streaming on Sunday as well. Now, Sunday, it'll be a little bit of a different stream. So it'll be more so probably me playing Madden for a good amount of the time on Sunday. So if you're someone that plays Madden, or you want to know, how does Madden look on the Xbox Series X, it'll be a good time to check out my stream. I'm looking to dedicate some hours to that on Sunday. So definitely do look forward to seeing that stream. It'll be a little different than what we typically have on this type of stream, but hey, it's what this channel is about, right? Constantly evolving. So definitely you guys are going to want to make sure that you're tuned in for that. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, so that way you'll be notified when that stuff does happen. And yeah, King, give me 1 minute, King, and I got you in a second. Let's see. But yeah, so far, I mean, the Patriots, they've been looking really good so far in this preseason game so far. And even since the start of the preseason last week against the Washington football team, although I know most of that came against their backups. But let's see how Cam does with actually, we've got Mac Jones in there now. So we've seen all that we're going to see from Cam Newton. He had a tremendous night, so I don't blame the coaching staff. Let's get Mac Jones in there, and let's see what we can see from him, because we saw everything we needed to see from Cam Newton in this one. All right, so we've got a penalty on the Patriots, so that's going to move them back. And again, regardless of what the score is, this is about evaluating in the preseason, honestly. And so we get to get a good look here at Mac Jones here in the second quarter. All right, so they have the 5-yard line. It's 1st and 14. The Eagles are going to be coming. Sony Michel, he's running. And yes, Sony Michel wants to show that he deserves to get a good amount of carries this upcoming year. All right, let's see something real quick. Let me see if this will let me do this or not. All right, so we get to see Mac Jones on the 2nd and 13. He drops back, shotgun, steps up, fires that one, nearly picked off there. That was nearly picked off. And so, yeah, you got to make sure that you protect the ball, especially that close to your own end zone. You really do not want to turn the ball over there and put the defense in the worst type of position. I mean, you never want to turn it over, but especially in that situation. All right, King. Yeah, I just dropped the my Discord there. So yeah, definitely reach out to me and let's connect on that. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that was a very nice throw right there by Mac Jones, throwing it to N'Keal Harry. And N'Keal Harry has, his agent has expressed that he is looking to be traded. Because really what N'Keal Harry wants is not so much that he wants to leave New England. It's just N'Keal Harry, he was a first round pick. He's got pride. He wants to get some opportunities to go out there and make some plays. As Mac Jones does a play action fake, tackles got. Oh man, the tackle got called for holding on that one. Mac Jones still throws a nice pass there for completion to Sony Michel, but it's not going to matter because they're going to get the offensive line for holding on that one. Yeah. I saw when that happened because at first I was like, oh man, we're about to get in trouble here. And so, yeah, he reached out them hands, referee saw it. That was pretty obvious hold right there. No complaints about that call. All right, so thanks to that holding penalty right there, it's going to be 1st and 20. They play action fake again. They're going to give Mac Jones a chance to throw it. It's the Sony Michel, and he gains some of those yards back on that play. But yeah, that was a great play call right there. Great job by Sony Michel. Pick up the yards you can. You never want to try to force it, and that's important for a rookie. The sooner they understand that, the better. And now we're at 2nd and 13. Let's see. Mac Jones steps up, throws it again to Sony Michel, who breaks that tackle, makes the guy miss, and he finishes the play after a 15-yard gain on the play. And yeah, Sony Michel, he's out there because he understands the Patriots got a bulk load of running backs. So if you don't go out there hard, you will definitely get lost on the depth chart because they've got so many different guys that they can utilize. And so he's out there trying to run hard and show that he deserves to get some carries in the regular season. And again, we're here in the second quarter still. Patriots have the ball. All right, they hand that ball off. And let's see, was that Stevenson with the carry? Yep, Stevenson with the carry. So Stevenson had that burst last week against the Washington football team at the end of the game, within within like the last minute or two of the game. And yeah, that was a really impressive burst. He scored a touchdown prior to that. So he's earned this chance to really go out there and show the coaching staff what he can do out there with some of the more, some of the starters out there before most of them get taken out. And Mac Jones throws that one. And that looks like he's just short. Yeah, just shy of the first. But great job making the reception. I know that pass was a little bit low on that. Okay, so it looks like they've updated that to a first down. All right, so they're going to give him the first down on that one. Mac Jones is showing some good poise on this drive. All right, it's that Stevenson again. Oh, man, look at those legs running. And so, yeah, Stevenson, oh, man, he reminds me so much of Steven Jackson back when Steven Jackson was young in this league. I mean, the way he carries the ball with a vengeance and he keeps them legs moving. He's got a lot of strength. Like you don't realize the camera doesn't do him justice as to how big he really is. But yeah, this is really fun to watch, and I'm glad that he's with the Patriots. He's going to be someone that teams are going to have to learn about. He's got that power and that speed combination. So that's exactly what Steven Jackson had as they give the ball to him again. Well, actually, this is Sony Michel this time. Yep. Hey, speed kills, right? And he displayed that speed last game against the Washington football team at the end. I mean, he showed everybody the kind of speed that he's got. So he's certainly not just a power back. He's got a nice combination of power and speed. But right now, the Patriots are really utilizing a lot of Sony Michel as well as Stevenson in the backfield. I see Sony Michel's getting a lot of action in terms of catching passes out the backfield. Let's see, Mac Jones with the scramble. Okay. I feel like he could have checked that one down, and it is a holding call. Yeah, but the nice scramble way to get down. Okay, so that's going to be on the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, yeah, right now the Eagles, though, I mean, to be fair, Jalen Hurts, he didn't get to start this game. And so obviously with that out the window, but still with Joe Flacco, considering that you have a quarterback competition going on, it really wasn't his fault or the Eagles' fault why they gave up that first touchdown. That was just a bad snap that set that drive up. But yeah, the Eagles, they can't be too happy with how the first half has gone so far in this one. Let's see, second down. Yeah, for the Jazz. Oh man, the Jazz. Like I really thought when all the injuries started to kick in the playoffs, I really thought that this might be the time for the Jazz to actually show that this could have been their year, but it didn't happen last year, and so it's going to be real tough for them guys. But Donovan Mitchell and company, they're going to be competitive again, But will they be a team that makes it all the way to the championship? It's going to take a lot to come together for them to actually do it. Do they have the talent to do it? Yes, and as the Sun showed, that's all it sometimes take, that and a little bit of luck. But yeah, I mean they've got a great team. It's just can they contend with the Lakers? That's something we're gonna have to wait and see. As we have a first down here. Let's see. And just to recap some of the stats so far in this one, I mean, Damian Harris, he had 6 carries for 14 yards. Sony Michel, he's got 4 carries for 16 yards as Mac Jones throws it to Stevenson out the backfield, who drops that pass. Stevenson, he's got 4 carries for 23 yards. And Mac Jones, he scrambled one time for 3 yards on the play. Let's see. For the Eagles, in terms of what they've been able to do on the ground, Miles Sanders started off 2 carries, 13 yards. You obviously don't want to run him too much. And then, Howard, he's had 3 carries for 8 yards, and Scott 3 carries for 10 yards. And then in terms of passing so far in this one, we got to see Cam Newton go out there. He was 8 of 9 for 103 yards, threw a touchdown to Myers. That he was looking great out there. So great that now they was able to put in Mac Jones, who threw it to Bourne on that play. And, oh, man, that could have been a nice play there. It could have been a nice play. And now they're saying that the play is going to be under review. So we're going to have a review. One of our favorite things in the preseason, to have a review. Yeah, for the Denver Nuggets, hey, they're another team that, they're going to be in the Western playoffs. You best believe that. They're a good team. I like the Denver Nuggets a lot and stuff. So they're going to be a team that's going to get to the playoffs, and they're not just going to be a team that gets put out in the first round. They're going to be a team that's going to be there in the second round and possibly maybe even the third round. But that's about the expectations that I have for them this upcoming season. But, hey, they're going to be a great regular season team, and one that whenever you play the Nuggets, you better bring your A-plus game if you want to beat these guys. But, yeah, I definitely like what they have as a unit. And so, yeah, I mean, through this first half, we've got about 3 minutes and 12 seconds left before we reach halftime in this one. And it's pretty much been Patriots all the way. I mean, a couple of those were just the Eagles making mistakes. But, yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's why you play preseason games, to get ready for the regular season. This was a dress rehearsal here. Supposed to be for a lot of starters, but obviously, in Jalen Hurts' situation, he was out with an illness. So we got to see a lot more of Joe Flacco in this game than probably the Eagles would have wanted to. But I think that this reaffirms that, yeah, Jalen Hurts is the guy, if you're an Eagles fan, that you want up under center this upcoming season. That's my evaluation of what I've seen so far. There's just certain elements of this offense that work better when you have a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts, I feel. Let's see. All right, so right now they're showing the replay. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. And while they go through this replay, all right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so 2nd and 10 right now, and Mac Jones is at the 19-yard line, hands it off to Sony Michel, and Sony picks up about 11 yards there. So that's going to put them at the goal line again. And I'm impressed with what I'm seeing from the run blocking of the Patriots, but obviously the Patriots, they are a very good run blocking team. And so really excited about that. Let's see. Hey, Dickie, thank you so much for joining the stream. Glad to have you there. And yes, let's go Pats. I love all fans, but hey, I'm a Patriots fan at heart. And so definitely glad to have you here on the stream. You've got to be loving what you're seeing so far from these New England Patriots right now, as they look like they're about to score yet again. I mean, yeah, this is really good. I hope that this is what we're going to see in the regular season as well. Cam Newton, he looked extremely great out there. I'm not going to lie. Like, he looked really good. I think that he showed that, as long as he goes out there and he plays like that, then yeah, I believe Bill Belichick's going to stick with him early on. But this will give Mac Jones more of a chance to continue to learn. And as long as you keep him engaged, keep him engaged. Meanwhile, Sonny Michel, he falls a yard short there. But yeah, that was a good stand right there by the Philadelphia Eagles on that one. They were ready for that play. It's going to be 3rd and goal. And so really want to see these Patriots score at the goal line, because I remember early in the season last year, if you look back to last year, back when Cam Newton was like really playing good before the COVID situation, and then it was late in the game, the last play of the game, and the Patriots ran a play that Cam Newton kind of tried to like just bounce to the outside like it was a stretch for the quarterback, a design run, and that was about 2 yards short. As we score a touchdown with Stevenson, he's a touchdown machine. If you play fantasy football, I'm not saying you should draft him yet because the Patriots have a lot of running backs and stuff, but I'm just saying if there's ever a situation where they start relying on them heavily, you better be the first one to pick him up, because he's certainly someone that has a nose for the end zone. Reminds me a lot of Steven Jackson back in the day when he was with the Rams. And yeah, he's got that combination of speed and power. And I love the way that he finishes runs. And you can tell the camera doesn't do him justice, just how he runs the ball. He runs the ball like someone like a LeGarrette Blount back in the day, or something like that. So yeah, I absolutely love having him on the team. I love the depth chart of the Patriots in general, from top to bottom, when it comes to especially that running back room. They've got a lot of running backs that they can utilize. The more running backs you have, the better you're going to be, especially since we're talking about an extra regular season game. Yeah, that's really big. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Perfect. Appreciate that. Perfect. Let's see. Cam looked great, no doubt. Yes, I was really impressed, because, I mean, you hear all the time that everybody's talking about he's the king of checkdowns, as the Eagles call them in practice and stuff, throwing it down to the running back. And, I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, I saw when Brady was there the last couple of years, and he realized, like, look, Patriots, they didn't have the receivers for him like when we had Randy Moss and stuff. I know that everybody's always talking about The Patriots, used to have great receivers and stuff. But most of the time, outside of the small stretch that there was Randy Moss there, most of the time you're relying on guys like, if you think back to the Troy Brown era, Deion Branch, guys like that, David Patton, and then fast forward to your Wes Welkers, Julian Edelman. He played with smaller receivers. So when you play with small receivers, you're going to check down to the running back more times than not, unless you just have somebody that, can really get open. And so, especially last year with what the Patriots had at the receiving position, I mean, I liked Myers. I do like that of everything that we had go wrong in terms of the tight end positions for the Patriots and the receivers last year, that Myers did develop nicely over the last 2 years. That was a positive. I know Bill Belichick takes a lot of knocks for not being able to draft receivers very well, particularly early, but later on they did hit on Myers. That was a good one right there. And was really happy to see that, we still have him on the team. Obviously, no Julian Edelman. And, for him to choose to retire rather than join Tampa Bay, major respect for him on that decision right there. But, the Patriots now, they're a completely different team than what we saw last year. And I think a lot of people are going to realize that. They don't want to realize it, I know, but they're going to realize the Patriots, they're coming. Let's see, King says, let's go Washington football team. Hey, I'm excited for the Washington football team. I know for Dallas, there's a lot of Dallas fans out there that want to see their team win. I think personally it's going to come down to Washington and Dallas particularly. I mean, no offense to the Giants, but I don't think that they're there. But they also are a team that can definitely beat anybody in that division. They're just a scrappy type of team. But in terms of winning the division, I think it really boils down to Washington, especially with Fitzmagic back there in the pocket and what he can do. I'm just glad that he's no longer with the Dolphins. And, I mean, part of me was sad when they benched him because, one, I, had him on my fantasy team. And so when he got sat, I was in a 14-person fantasy team. So when he got sat, that meant that I needed to find another quarterback immediately. And then they put Tua in there. And we'll see what Tua got. We'll really take a hard evaluation of what he's got. But him with the Washington football team, that's a good move right there. I really like that. The addition of Curtis Samuel as well. I thought that was a good pickup for what Washington wants to do. So I really like that team a lot down there. And I think that they're a team that certainly, of all the teams in that division, they match up the best if you put them against some of the better teams in the NFC. You think about a matchup against the Buccaneers. I could see a scenario where that defense, holds Tampa to probably about a good 20, 22 points. And depending on what Fitzmagic can do, hey, he's beaten Brady before. So, I mean, it would not be crazy if he did it. Now, Dallas, it'd be crazy if they beat Tampa. Nobody's expecting them to beat Tampa. And when you make comparisons like that, that's why, I can see Washington being, the better team in that division, or at least the best team that would have a chance to compete in the playoffs should they reach it. Now, in terms of firepower, though, yeah, that probably would be the Cowboys in terms of just the most exciting offense. But there's more to football than that. Let's see. Touchdown Stevenson, rookie, drove them all the way from Eagles end zone to end zone. He really did. And, Bill Belichick, he loves when someone runs hard and works hard. And Bill Belichick, he understands more than anybody. I always tell people when the Patriots really started to take off in that dynasty, you can say the first 2 years it was on the defense because it really was on the defense, especially first year. We had guys like Lawyer Malloy. We had guys like Ty Law, all of them back there in the secondary. Then not to mention the linebackers we had, your Brewskis, your McGinnis, all them guys, we had all of them on the defensive line. But then by the third Super Bowl, and when Brady really started to take off in his career was when we matched him with a guy like Corey Dillon. When we started having a power back, that's when the Patriots have always been at their best. And I truly believe to this day, if Bill Belichick had maybe one more year of a nice Corey Dillon back when the Patriots went undefeated and lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, as much as I hate bringing that up, I think Corey Dillon would have made a difference in that one if he was still the Corey Dillon that we saw before that. Because when we have power backs, we are a lot more dangerous, especially when we're talking about the playoffs. And a lot of teams, they don't understand the importance of having a power back, especially late in the season when the weather gets cold and then, passing isn't the same and you have the different elements, all of that stuff. So having a back that as the season goes on, they just run harder, that is a major flex. Major flex. Let's see. So King wants me to talk about the Dolphins. So, yeah, when it comes to the Dolphins, they've got a great defense. That they have a great defense. My biggest questions for them is the offensive line. Now, they did make that trade with Carolina to bring in another tackle. But yeah, the offensive line is always an issue, I feel like, when it comes to Miami. And when you have someone like Tua Tagovailoa, I just get the feeling that based upon all the injuries that he had at the college level, that he's going to end up being someone like maybe you think of a Chad Pennington back in the day. You know, he was a great quarterback and always got comeback quarterback of the year because every other year he was out for the season, basically. And so I hope that's not the case for Tua. I hope he's someone that can, be healthy for the most part. But he's got a lot that he's got to show the organization in terms of how much they can really trust him, because last year he clearly wasn't ready, but they pushed him up there to be the starter anyways, and it ended up, I think, costing them a chance at making the playoffs last year as Joe Flacco drops back and throws an incomplete pass. So excellent defense. I mean, Patriots are just out there having their way right now. But yeah. That's what I think about that. But I do think it's going to be a 3-team race when it comes to the AFC East. Obviously, me as a Patriot fan, I want to see the Patriots win a division. But I will say I think the Patriots will probably be an 11 or 12 win team. That's my projection for next year. But I can certainly see some scenarios where there's a couple games that the Patriots may upset some people and y'all may not see it coming, especially when Tampa Bay comes to town. If the Patriots are 3-0 at that time, if Cam Newton's throwing well, I'm telling you, all we got to do is just hang around. I mean, people thought it was crazy last year when the Bears beat the Buccaneers, but I'm telling you, Bill Belichick's going to have something special for that. And Bill, do we trust? I trust in Bill Belichick. I will trust in Bill Belichick. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco, he throws it. They gain about a good 7 yards on that. So I will say that. But really quickly, I'll take this time to, thank each and every person that's watching this stream. Really appreciate you guys so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. I mean, last time we streamed, I was under 600 subs. And so now, last time I checked, I think I'm at like 621 or something like that, give or take. But really appreciate you guys so much for coming through. It's you guys that really helps this channel take it to the next level. So really appreciate all the support. And if you're someone that's watching and you're not subscribed, do consider subscribing to the channel and joining the chat section. Here is the best way to get your, thoughts out there. I definitely do show, your thoughts, and it's a great way to have that communication, and it adds another element when you're watching the game and you're able to talk about the things that are actually transpiring. But really do appreciate you guys so much. King says, remember me when I'm famous. Hey, definitely. Of course. You're going to be on my mod. So you'll be there too. It'll definitely be there. But yeah, definitely appreciate that. And yeah, I'm just a sports fan like everybody else that loves, success. And hey, I'm hoping this is the year the Patriots can, rebound and tie things up with Brady, show Brady that it wasn't just him, that we're still the Patriots and the Patriot way lives on. But yeah, I'm just a fan of a fan, I guess you can say. But appreciate you. All right, so Joe Flacco is going to go for it here on 4th and 4. And this is really just to see, because, hey, you're really evaluating Joe Flacco hard. Maybe in the second half, they may go with the third-string quarterback. But this is really just to have an evaluation, I believe, of situational football. I know Bill Belichick preaches all the time about situational football. So that's why sometimes, even though the Patriots are up 19-0, you may still see them do things. And in the regular season, you're not going to see them do, because this is about as much of an opportunity that you get to have situational football. Let's see. Yeah, so when it comes to the Nets, obviously, when it comes to the Nets, I think that just off of pure talent alone, they should be the favorite, especially in that Eastern Conference. I mean, there's no denying how good that team are, especially when they're healthy. Like Milwaukee, when they played them, we all know that the injuries in that situation there, obviously, Milwaukee still had to go out there and win, and it was extremely close. But you have to imagine that if Brooklyn is fully healthy, that they're going to be the team to beat in that Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, nice interception there by the Patriots. Wow, what a play. I mean, the ball was tipped, and he went there and picked him off. So, yeah, Eagles are definitely frustrated right now. They have not had anything go their way the entire first half. It has just been a one-sided affair out there. Great coverage in the secondary by Bethel. That was a great coverage there. And then great job to have, your head up and go out there and make the interception. I know it was fourth down, so probably for field position's sake, talking about a difference of a couple yards, but you love to see guys flying for the football out there. So what a play. And we're going to get to see Mac Jones go out there and try to score with 38 seconds. Obviously, in the preseason, well, in any game, honestly, your objective is to score, as this is great opportunity for situation. He's got one timeout, so that's important to remember. As he steps up and heaves it deep to N'Keal Harry. Oh, who drops that one? Come on, N'Keal. I mean, how could you drop that when you've been complaining all summer long that you don't get the ball enough? And so, oh, man, he looks like he's hurt. Oh, man, I hope he's not hurt. Oh, man, but that was such a great opportunity. I mean, you can see he got past the defender. The ball was on the money. And quite frankly, the Patriots, they don't have many big receivers. So, oh, man. It's something to kill. Oh, man. Yeah, we need that, man. We absolutely need that. But, yeah, N'Keal Harry, he's the only big receiver the Patriots really have on this team. And, he's got potential. I know he hasn't shown it yet. And Patriot fans, we might be a little frustrated with him. But, I mean, as long as he's on the roster, I mean, he's, the only big body that the Patriots have. But right now he looks like he's in a lot of pain. So really hoping that he's okay, honestly. Yeah, they're really tending to him there. All right, so looks like he's able to walk off on his own. Okay, so for the most part, he's able to walk off on his own. Obviously, he's got the training staff next to him, but that's a good sign that he's able to walk off as opposed to being carted off or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, so when it comes to the Cavs, I mean, the Cavs, they really just they've got a lot of work they need to do in order to rebuild there. I mean, we know that it's the house that, King James pretty much built, but since he's been gone, they've been really just trying to put a team together that can go out there and lead them to the playoffs, honestly. As Mac Jones takes a snap, steps up, throws it, and, that's a gain of at least about 7 to 8 yards, and that's by Taylor. And, man, do I love this Taylor guy. I know that he gives me like Darren Sproles type of vibes, honestly, when I see him out there playing. And so really hope that the Patriots are able to keep all of their running backs. I really feel like this is a must. Just keep all the running backs that we currently have on the roster. That's what I would do. I know we've got to trim it down, but absolutely. Let's see. All right. Thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate you, King. You have a great rest of your day, man. Take care. And as always, we will see you next stream. But thank you so much for stopping through, man. And have a great rest of your day. Oh, yeah. On to the next one, man. On to the next one. Appreciate you, though. And so let's see. So, this is going to be 4th and 2 with 12 seconds to go. Let's see, there's a flag. But, I mean, from what we've seen so far, I mean, these quarterbacks, especially for the Patriots, have been looking really good so far. I mean, Mac Jones going 5 of 9, 61 yards. Cam Newton, 8 of 9, 103 yards, a touchdown. Really big. As for the Eagles, Joe Flacco, he's been 10 of 17. He's been taking all the snaps so far. There's been no Jalen Hurts, of course, due to an illness. So it's been all on him to carry the load for the Eagles. And, I mean, from the beginning, just a couple first downs. They came in, got 2 first downs. Then on the third, try. They went out there, snapped it out the shotgun center. The ball went over Joe Flacco's head, and Joe Flacco tried to pick it up and still throw it, was unable to. Patriots had the ball basically within the red zone, and ever since then, it's been all Patriots since then. All right, so Joe Flacco's going to go and line it up and get ready to send us to halftime, with the score being Patriots 19, Eagles nothing. Yeah, so that has been the story so far in this one. The Patriots are currently dominating this one. Cam Newton went out there, looked absolutely fantastic in that first half. I mean, I can't emphasize enough, when he was throwing the ball to these receivers, it seemed like there was good ball placement on that when he actually stepped up. And that's not something that I'm used to seeing, because it's not every day that Cam Newton has that kind of time, honestly. You feel like a lot of the times that Cam has been dropping back, even when he was in Carolina, there's always pass rush coming at him, because there's always, teams love to bring a lot of pressure towards him because they don't respect his ability to connect on the deep ball. So they will take a lot more chances than they typically would against other quarterbacks. And he takes a lot of hits. I'm talking about a lot of hits. And so, I know years ago they were talking about nobody was getting hit more than Cam Newton was when he was in Carolina. So them hits, they add up. They do add up. But it's nice to see that he had a clean pocket to work with. And, these receivers are doing a good job of getting separation. Obviously, we hope that N'Keal Harry is not hurt, or at least it's not, serious, and that he'll be able to be back as soon as possible. But obviously his health, hoping the best for him, as he clearly wants to do something with his career. Let's see. He says, Pats get the football back after the half. Yes. And so, that means I'd imagine more of Mac Jones in this one. And so, especially, I think, at least through the end of the third quarter, take a good evaluation of Mac Jones as well. And then it'll be Brian Hoyer time in the fourth quarter. But, man, it has been really good, especially for the Patriots. This has been extremely encouraging here. The only sad part, I guess you can say, if you're a Patriots fan, is that this isn't the regular season. I mean, we would love to see this in the regular season. Now, obviously, in the regular season, Jalen Hurts, would have been, well, if he has the illness, he wouldn't have played. But, hypothetically, they have their starting quarterback, so that'd be a different game. But, he did not play because of that illness. And so definitely hoping that he recovers from that soon. Yeah, but so much good stuff from the Patriots here all around. I know a lot of teams made some roster cuts. If there's one position right now for the Patriots to really keep your eyes on, it is definitely that tight end position. I know we picked up a ton of guys at the tight end position, but, a lot of those guys right now, they're injured. It should not be something that carries on into the regular season, but a lot of tight ends right now are banged up. And so that depth at the tight end position is very important, because we really don't want a situation like last year where the Patriots had absolutely no production in the tight end position. But that's why they went out there and spent all that money, brought in a guy like a Hunter Henry or Janu Smith, two tight ends that's going to really revamp this Patriots offense. And you're going to see a lot of two tight ends set, run the ball, play action fake. Most of Cam passes I'm anticipating is going to be play action fake. Would you guys see what Tennessee's offense looked like? Minus the fact we don't have an A.J. Brown or Julio Jones or something like that. But in terms of just what you see with the ball, mostly run first and then Ryan Tannehill, play action fake, pass. That's what you're going to see a lot of with Cam Newton. And then when it's Mac Jones' turn, you'll see a lot of that with him as well. But the Patriots, they are loaded at the running back position. They've got a couple guys that can excel in pass catching, and then they've got those that can, put their shoulders in and run that ball. And when you have so many guys that can carry the ball, you keep these running backs fresh throughout the season. And so you've got to love this for the Patriots. And they've got the offensive line to run block. These guys really excel at run blocking. Let's see how we look week one against them Dolphins. They look tough as well. I will say this now, from what I've seen with the Patriots, watching them over the years, it seems like as of late, these two teams will split. Early on in the season, it seems like they're going to continue to send the Dolphins down to the Patriots early on, so that way they're not coming down to New England when the weather's bad late in the season. And so early on, The Patriots, I think they win the first matchup against the Miami Dolphins at home. I feel like it'll be similar to what we saw last year, maybe the final score of something being 24 to like 14 or something like that, or 24 to 20, something like that. But I do feel that the Patriots will win that opening game. But then later in the season, they'll find some crazy way, like I don't know how that pass that they threw that Gronkowski totally whiffed on that Hail Mary play today still haunts me. But they don't have, Ryan Fitzpatrick anymore to save them. So I will say that. But yeah, typically a split, I think is really safe. The difference is, and what's going to make the biggest difference is that I truly believe, in all heart of heart, I truly believe the Patriots are going to split with the Buffalo Bills this upcoming season. And so I don't think Miami will split with Buffalo this upcoming season. Now, when they play Buffalo, I'm going to be rooting hard for Miami to beat Buffalo unless it's late in the year and it's coming down to Miami and New England. But I'm hoping that somebody can steal a game. I'm always going to be rooting for the Jets to beat Buffalo or Miami whenever they play and just get some type of upset. But with the injuries they got going on, we cannot count on that. But I think the Patriots are going to do good against the Bills and split with them this upcoming season, and that's going to make one of the biggest differences because I don't think Miami's going to be able to do that just because it's going to come down to Bill Belichick coaching is going to be enough. We saw last year against Buffalo. Now, it's not crazy. We saw last year Cam Newton fumbled that ball away, but the Patriots were driving, and if he doesn't fumble that ball, I feel that we would have beaten the Buffalo Bills for the Patriots last year. So that's just my personal thought. Now, the second time they played us, hey, they kicked us out of the ballpark on that one. Okay, that was a celebration game for Buffalo to celebrate getting the division. But we're not that same team that we were last year. The Patriots got weapons now, and teams need to respect that for sure. Let's see. He said we always split against them Dolphins. It always happens. I always hate that it happens. But hey, as long as we get the first one and stuff, we'll worry about the second one when we get there. We will worry about that later on. Zero to Hero, thank you so much for coming through to the stream. I know it's been a minute, but I'm glad to have you here. How's everything going? How are you enjoying the game? I know it's a little one-sided right now, but are you impressed with what you've seen with the quarterbacks so far? Just give me your thoughts on this preseason game so far in this one. But glad to have you here. It's always great to have you. Let's see. Meanwhile, Mac Jones has just been, he's been good, but Cam Newton was really impressive in that one. And for a lot of these teams, I feel like I can kind of justify why a lot of the teams, and when I'm talking about these teams, I'm talking about teams like, the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo. I understand why they want to start off with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he led them to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Jimmy's biggest flaw is that Jimmy gets hurt. So if Jimmy can go out there and not get hurt, and if the 49ers can stay healthy, they're automatically going to be a better team. So they don't have to rush Trey Lance. Trey Lance will be something special, I think, for the 49ers, but they don't have to rush him right now. When his time is called, just be ready. That's all they need from him. Be ready when your time is called because the guy ahead of you tends to have a tendency of getting injured a lot. So just be ready when your number is called. Now, the situation down there in Chicago, I haven't made up my mind yet, but from what I've seen so far, I feel like Andy Dalton probably should be the quarterback, for the Bears for the first couple of games. But roll unto Matt Nagy. He has to understand this is going to be his job right here. If Matt Nagy goes out there and he holds on to Andy Dalton too long and like the Bears are losing close games and he doesn't make that switch, that's going to cost him this job. I think that's what hurt the Chargers head coach last year. Even though Justin Herbert came in, did tremendous and stuff like that, they're looking at him like, he came out there and he was the best rookie there was last year, and you was going to keep him on the bench despite the fact that he was the best quarterback just to prove a point and have Tyrod Taylor out there at quarterback. So, I think that's what ultimately why they didn't bring him back because the Chargers finished off really good last year, enough to where it was convincing that they had something going. But they're like, nah, you showed us that your evaluation skills aren't up there. And that's how coaches get themselves in trouble. So Chicago's coaches, Matt Nagy's got to be aware of that. And when the moment that Justin Fields is ready, he's got to be able to anticipate that. Do something similar to what I guess Miami did. As soon as the bye week comes, perfect time to transition to Justin Fields, unless Chicago's just really, balling out. And even so, they've got a good enough defense to where you have that defense. You've got David Montgomery and company at the running back position. You've got Allen Robinson. So you can make that substitution whenever that time is. But that's something that they've got to really make sure that they pay close attention to for Chicago. But I'm really hoping Chicago has a lot of success as well, because Justin Fields, I love Ohio State. So for me, I feel like that's my quarterback out there as well. So I'm really hoping that they do the correct thing for him. Don't start him too early to where he goes out there and struggle, but don't wait too late. When the time is right, make the switch. That's all I'm saying there. Let's see. All right, so Zero to Hero says, I feel good about Mac. I feel his limit is Matt Ryan. Floor is Trubisky. Ooh, don't put those tribulations on my man Mac Jones. Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. No, but we're just going to wipe that comparison off the records right there and say, I mean, even if they get something like a Matt Ryan, I mean, people forget when he won the MVP, that was great. I mean, there's a reason why the Falcons opted not to take a quarterback in a year where there were so many talented quarterbacks. I'm talking about, you want to talk about years down the road when Mac Ryan's no longer playing and like they have to look around the league and say, we could have drafted that guy. We could have drafted that guy. We could have drafted that guy. And explain to the fan base why Felipe Franks is probably the starting quarterback. Hey, Felipe did good though. I'm just playing y'all, but Felipe, he did good when he was out there. I was impressed with the way he was able to move in that pocket. I know it's the third string and stuff that he's going against. But hey, Felipe, in my opinion, he shows that they need to keep him on the roster, I think, especially in a year where, COVID can cause quarterbacks to miss and stuff. So, yeah, I would keep him on the roster personally after what I saw. Obviously, there's still more to evaluate, but, yeah. But in terms of a Matt Ryan comparison, hey, that's a pretty good comparison. If he turns out to be a Matt Ryan, as long as he's coached by Bill Belichick, he'll be the best version of Matt Ryan that you ever seen. I promise you that. So, yes, Zero to Hero says Nagy is trying to save his job. Fields is going to get thrown in. You say too early. Well, Matt Nagy definitely knows that his job is on the line. I mean, my man made the playoffs, and both him and Mitchell Trubisky knew that their jobs were on the line. But Mitch, he had to know that he wasn't going to come back in Chicago. There was just no way a coach, as you mentioned, that's desperate to save his job is going to do that. The only way he doesn't rush Justin Fields in there is if the Bears get off to a hot start to where he can justify keeping Justin Fields on the sideline. But if they get off to a start and they're like 2-2 or something like that, or 2-3, that's when you're going to start hearing some noise and he's going to be forced to pull the trigger and all like that. And now whether or not that's too early, that's going to be completely up to what Justin Fields does, to prepare himself during that time. But it's like you said, you definitely don't want to do that too early. And I really don't want that situation to where it's too early. And I wish I knew the Bears' schedule right up, like the first couple of games that they had. That would probably give an indication of just, is that something that they can survive, with Andy Dalton at quarterback? Because, I mean, that's Bears football, honestly. It's not like the Bears are like the, historically speaking, a team like the Colts has historically had good quarterback play, or something like the Packers that's heavily reliant on their quarterback. They've been playing so good for so long without one that a quarterback is just a plus right now. So if they can get off to a fast start, then Matt Nagy can really do his job in terms of just holding off right now until Justin Fields is ready. That's what he wants to do. That's what, of course, Andy Dalton wants him to do. But we'll see. We know how the fans can get, as well as ownership as well. Ownership will say, we want to see the guy that we drafted and all like that. And I feel like that's what happened in Miami last year. I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick was doing such a good job, but I feel like ownership wanted to see what Tua Tagovailoa actually had, since they drafted him in the first round, and they was not willing to wait until the next season to find out. They wanted to do that immediately. Let's see. Dickie says that I wish we could have seen how Stidham really looked out there with this team. Hey, now I know last year everybody we wanted Stid. I'm not gonna lie, Stid. He looked like he was gonna be the answer. I remember when Cam had COVID, and I was like, okay, this is Stid's chance to go out there and really show us what he's got. And then I saw that the Patriots started Brian Hoyer, and I was like, okay, I get it. He's a veteran. Bill Belichick has, that connect. Like, he wanted to go with the more experienced quarterback in that situation and stuff like that, until Cam Newton got back. It was a big game, I believe, against the Kansas City Chiefs. But, man, I mean, when Stig got in there, he was throwing it. I mean, now whether he was throwing it to our team, the other team, he was just throwing it. I mean, he went out there, and it looked like he didn't have the poise that you want, but the talent was there. He didn't have the poise, though. He was just out there, he was going to throw it. If it got to his guy, great. If he turned it over in the process, at least he was trying to make a play. And so Bill Belichick was not going to take that route. So let's see. Zero to Hero says Stidham is a bust. It's either Cam or Mac. If Stidham was good, he would have played last year. I will say when Bill Belichick brought in Cam Newton, that told me everything that I needed to know when it came to Jarrett Stidham. And obviously, he didn't have the luxury last year of having a preseason to really have, put in one quarterback and go with the other quarterback and see how that goes. There's a certain confidence that a Cam Newton brings, which is why teams were hesitant to bring him in as a backup, because there's a certain aura about him that he comes in and he just has such high energy that could be, like threatening to a quarterback, especially if you're not someone that's secure about your job. So when he came to the Patriots, I knew that they brought him in with the mindset that he was going to start. Now, he didn't have a lot of time to really learn the playbook, and they had to adjust the playbook like literally leading up to it. And the offense did not have the tight ends or wide receivers needed to help him or the Patriots succeed. But he did get off to a good start in spite of that, even though he had to run the ball more times than we would have liked to see in a quarterback run, especially from what we've seen from the Patriots and stuff. But I feel like the circumstances created that. We didn't have the receivers to support him. We had no tight ends, none whatsoever. None. I think we could have put 2 chairs out there and stick them at tight end and get the same production as what we got last year at the tight end position, sadly. So I was so glad to see the Patriots update that. And you see another pass here, and what a completion there. Nice way to fire that ball in there. But yeah, for both Mac Jones and Justin Fields this year and Trey Lance, I say go ahead and let them guys sit and, just continue to learn the game and keep your head up. I think all of them will get an opportunity at some point. Maybe Trey Lance might. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo goes out there and leads them to the playoffs. Maybe he might have to wait a little longer. And if honestly, for any of these teams, if they go out there and the quarterbacks, can ball out and give them some more time, that'd be a good situation. I mean, as a fan, just knowing you have that in your back pocket, that you still got your first round pick in your back pocket, in case, worst case scenario. And look at Taylor on that run all the way to the 32-yard line. I'm telling you, he reminds me of Darren Sproles out there at times. But yeah, it's a good situation for a team when you don't have to force quarterbacks. Now, I do feel a lot for Zach Wilson. I mean, the Jets have already had to overcome so much, losing their coach to that bike incident. That was absolutely horrible. And so sorry to hear that for, him and his family. And then you think about the Jets and the injuries that they had today, losing a couple guys. And it's not like, this team is trying to build a new culture, new coach, a lot of new players and stuff coming in and trying to establish a culture. But yet you're having all these things go wrong. And it's not like Zach Wilson has somebody behind him or in front of him that he can learn from. He has to go out there. And what a pass by Mac Jones. I mean, he just threw that in there in between coverage, and that was some accuracy right there. He had to step up in there to try to add some zip to it, but I love that pass there. And so that was a great one. Absolutely great pass, great route. Absolutely loved it. You see, I had to stop talking mid-conversation. I forgot completely what I was talking about prior to that because it was just such a great play right there. It's Taylor putting the move. Oh, what a juke. That's a video game move right there, folks. Like that is wild how he did that. Absolutely wild. Wow. Let's see that replay again. You see he's inside, shuffles, then spins. Poor 38. I don't know who he is, but poor 38. That's probably going to cost him his job, honestly, folks. Like that was a sick move right there. Let's see. You say, let's see, Mac Jones has a good arm. Yeah, I feel like Mac Jones is going to be a similar situation in terms of when he gets older in this league, I think his arm is going to continue to get stronger. Of course, it's going to matter, the type of training that he receives and how he takes care of his body. But I feel like he's the kind of player that obviously as he continues to get older in this league, I think his arm strength will continue to grow. As Taylor with the touchdown. Man, this is Patriots everything, man. This is almost like a Patriots highlight. Like if you're trying to show a highlight of the Patriots, you don't even have to edit anything out. Just show the entire game so far. What a dominating performance. But great run right there by Taylor. And that's why the Patriots need to keep every single running back that we have on the roster because these guys, they're going to really be a big part of the Patriots' success this upcoming season. That running game is going to force teams to have to respect that ground game, which is going to open up that play action fake. And these new receivers that we got, they're going to be huge. Kevin Bourne, he's going to be huge this year. He's going to have 1,000 yards receiving for the Patriots. My goodness, Norton is just okay. Maybe there are some things you would want to edit out if you were recording this game. Norton is just going north with this stuff. Like he's just, I don't know what to say. I'm not used to seeing the Patriots kicker struggle this much. Now, obviously, he's not, the guy, but I mean, my goodness, he just is having a terrible game out there. Terrible game. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for all these rookies though. Now Trevor Lawrence, I'm concerned about both him and Zach Wilson because I feel like both of them are going to be thrown into the fire regardless of what plays out. I know Gardner Minshew is there for Jacksonville, so maybe there's an outside chance he gets to start. I feel like he's definitely got the most confidence right now, and just by having the NFL experience, that bodes well for him. But I feel like those quarterbacks could really benefit from having someone that they can sit behind. But Zach Wilson, there's no doubt about it. He's going to be out there with the Jets, and I hope that it's not the same situation it was for Sam Darnold, where you're out there by yourself. Your lead back last year was Frank Gore in year, 16, 17? Shoot, probably more than that. So that was rough, honestly, right there for the Jets last year. But, Sam Darnold, he's in a better place right now for the Carolina Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to be one of those sneaky teams that at some point, that they're going to cause a few upsets and stuff. They're going to be a scrappy team, a tough team. I think Sam Darnold's going to have his best year as a pro. Now, what is that going to look like? Even I don't know. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think it's going to be better than anything that we saw with him with the Jets. And so for him, shoot, just being a top 20 quarterback next year, I think that's a W for him if he finishes in the top 20 in terms of just being in the top 20 of quarterbacks around the league. Oh, yeah, Bill Belichick's not going to play that. Yeah, I'm surprised Bill Belichick hasn't sat him down and said, let's try out the punter and let the punter end the game, a kicker, and just tell him just go home. But, yeah, I mean, Quinn is missing everything. I think he only made like maybe one extra point so far in this one. But, yeah, he's missed like a field goal, 2 extra points. Yeah, the only negative right now for the Patriots. Old Man Mob, thank you so much for coming through. It's always good to have you here. Yes, and what's good? I'll tell you what's good. Everything is good right now, at least for the Patriots right now. Run game always looking nasty. We've got that 5-headed monster back there in the backfield. Do we need a kicker? Heck yeah, we need a kicker. I mean, Nick Foles needs to come back. I don't know. Do we need to let this guy go? Whatever happened to the dude the Patriots drafted last year at the kicker, the one that we chose over the kid from Georgia? Whatever happened to him? I know that he got cut and stuff, but shoot, man, it might be a time to reach out and see what he's got. We've brought in so many kickers over the last couple of years. Someone else has got to be kicking better than this, because this is just Norton's not getting it done. I don't know how he's looking in practice that let him, set him out there, but right now he's just not getting it done, and so we need to move on from that. We cannot have that. Let's see. Who was the quarterback on the drive? Yeah, for that drive, it was still Mac Jones. And so Mac Jones is still the man down there, and I anticipate that he's going to continue at least until about maybe midway through this game. I'm unsure if Jarrett Stidham's going to play in this game. I know he didn't play the last game, but I haven't checked the injury report to see if Stid's, going to be playing or not, or if he's still out. But, yeah. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they're still trying to get something going. Just anything positive right now for the Eagles is what they're looking for. And we've got Mullins in the game now for the Eagles. I liked him when he was with the 49ers. That was an interesting – I feel like the 49ers had a lot of nice guy type of quarterbacks in that depth chart. Good for backups, good on paper, but you don't want them starting the game. You really don't want them starting the game. So let's see, 2nd down and 4. Let's see if if the Patriots defense are going to stop him here, or if the Eagles can get a 1st down, run the ball again. All right, so he's going to be about a yard shy of the first. Let's see. He was horrible in practice. Nick took the job. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that aspect of it and stuff. But would he be worse than what we're getting right now with Norton? That is the question I have, because if he's worse than that, then yeah. There's got to be someone else that we can use right now until Nick returns. There's got to be. Hopefully, he's not going to be out too much longer. All right, so first down right there on that pass. So, yeah, the Eagles, they're really trying hard to try to get something to work. Let's see. Norton has one bad game. We still should see next week. Adam Vinatieri. Yeah, Adam Vinatieri. He had some bad games now. He did have a couple now. But when we needed him, he was clutch for us. And so that Adam Vinatieri, he is the GOAT of field goal kickers. I'm telling you. So yeah, definitely enjoyed those days. And man, did he come through with all those Super Bowls with the game on the line. History could have been so different if he was not as clutch as he was. I mean, you think about a team like Buffalo, made it to the Super Bowl 4 times straight, had one chance to win it with a field goal, didn't do it. And so Adam Vinatieri, so huge, so thankful for what he's meant to the Patriots as an organization, even though he joined the Indianapolis Colts afterwards, in which I was not too fond of. But hey, I get it. Business decision. You wanted to go to a team that was going to contend for years to come. So definitely understand that. Now, I remember last year, if you guys may remember as well, that I think it was the first or second game for the Titans when Stephen Gostkowski went out there and he was like 0 for 5 before he made the game-winning field goal. I feel bad for anybody that had him on their fantasy team, picked him up, and if he cost them their game because he just went out there and just kept missing before he finally made it. And then somebody thought they were going to have a win, but their kicker ended up being the reason why they lost. Meanwhile, we've got a second down here. Let's see. Yeah, but so far, in terms of just for this entire game, Cam Newton going 8 of 9 for that touchdown as well. And yes, he was doing more than just checking the ball down. He actually had some time in the pocket. Patriots offensive line did a pretty good job of pass protection. Meanwhile, oh man, look at this pass rush. Get back there. This is all Patriots all day long. Whether we're talking starters, backups, these boys are being coached the right way. Bill Belichick is making sure that this team is ready, and I love it. He opened up his checkbook. He spent money, and yeah, there we go. Then Mac Jones, he was 10 of 14, 115 yards. So both quarterbacks of the Patriots have done a really good job so far in this one. Let's see. Zero to Hero says, our defense is not doing well against the run. A terrible Eagle team is doing decent against us. We got to do better. Yeah, I did notice a couple of those as well. Oh man, look at that. They cannot protect. Yeah, this is not good at all. This is going to be a long game for him, a long second half for him. Oh man, yeah. I feel for Nick Mullins here. This is tough. You're out there, the offensive line's not giving you time to set up and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, see, Matthew Judon was the best. Yeah, he's been the best signing so far. He really has, because that's one thing that I noticed going back to the Washington football team game that really stood out to me. Because honestly, I mean, just looking at the speed that we have and how we look so much faster on defense than what we looked last season, that was really big right there in terms of adding a guy like Matthew Judon and just what he meant. That's why Bill made that, made that decision to do that. And then you got him, you got Hightower coming back. This is going to be an exciting Patriots team. I'm telling you guys, don't overlook this Patriots team. This is going to be a good team. At least 12 wins this upcoming season. Let's see, Zero to Hero agrees. Let's see. Zero to Hero says, our run either stops them at the line or gives them 7 yards. You know what? That's very true. I have noticed that because the times that the Eagles did run the ball, especially when we opened up the game, we've got just about every starter that's eligible to go out there. And in the first drive, they ran it for 10 yards, ran it for another 10 yards or 11 yards. Then they tried to pass it in the shotgun. Ball went over Joe Flacco's head. Ever since then, the Eagles have not recovered from that. But if they would have stuck to just running the ball, but Miles Sanders was in, it would have been very interesting. Very interesting. I know that we did, in the draft pick up Christian Basemore. I've got very high hopes for him. And I'm hoping that, that addition, along with some of the other moves that we made on defense, will pan out. But yeah, that's something that we've been looking for a while for the Patriots. We've seen quite a few defensive tackles, well, defensive linemen get drafted in the interior in like the early rounds by Bill Belichick, and they lately haven't panned out. But if Christian Bazemore can pan out for these Patriots, that could be really big, because I feel like that's what we're missing up the middle, is that big run stopper, that big body run stopper. Someone that reminds you of a Vince Wilfork and stuff like that, or either Keith Traylor. Yeah, but Patriots so far all the way, and I know it's a preseason game, but hey, this is some good stuff right here. I'd rather see this than to see it the other way around and be like, oh man, there's a lot we need to work on. It's still obviously a lot you got to work on, and believe me, Bill Belichick pays attention to details, but Bill Belichick likes to mold teams as the season goes on. They typically will be playing better ball than they do at the beginning of the season. Typically, they will be better, barring injuries and stuff. So, yeah, and Bill we trust here. Bill's got some pieces to work with. I will say that. Some nice pieces to work with. Let's see. For Gilmore, that's a good question. I forget the reason. I know I checked it out for Gilmore, but I believe that it's just a situation of just not putting him out there, especially in the preseason game. We know what Gilmore has, but rather just, the rest of the secondary, a good chance to really evaluate them. Because I'm not sure, and maybe I just hadn't paid attention, but I don't think I've seen J.C. Jackson out there either. So that could be the case there. Let's see. Old Man Mob, he says we have a lot of young depth players. Most important is taking care of our cornerback. Yeah, we need those cornerbacks. Like that's a need. Everything that we've done so far in terms of what the Patriots have done to establish their front seven is reliant upon the fact that we can rely on that secondary to give them time to get to the quarterback. That's definitely what the Patriots are going to be relying on heavily, is that secondary. And so, but Bill's going to coach him up. It's going to be more so of just playing situational football. The Patriots, especially over the last couple of years, playing that bend but don't break type of defense. So you're going to see times where teams are going to rack up a lot of yards against our defense. Oh, look at this. Look at Stevenson go. This man, he is going to be big. He keeps doing plays like that. The coaching staff ain't going to have no choice but to really allow this man to have some opportunities this season. And that's a major win for the Patriots, honestly. But I'm loving this. Let's see. JC was playing loud. Okay, yeah. Well, that's great right there. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I must have overlooked that. I was getting confused by a lot of the New Jersey numbers out there that was catching my attention. Let's see. Bill Belichick wants to see what the young cornerbacks can do. He's seeing if he thinks they needs to pay Gilmore or a. Yeah, man, you're reminding me of those fears of the conversations that we're going to have once the season's over, when we're going to have to really sit down and see, are we going to pay these guys the money? Because both of these young corners, they understand how important they are for the Patriots. And their agent is telling them that too, and they really want to break the bank. Gilmore, he loves money. He loves money. And JC, he gets a lot of interceptions. The stats, they speak for themselves. And so he's going to want a nice payday too. So the Patriots are going to have to play that one very smart as we get a completion there. What a nice pass that was, and what a nice completion that was. Patriots, they have a lot of time in this one. I feel like when we played the Washington football team and when the first team was in, the offensive line did not give nearly that kind of time right there. So that is something to be skeptical of. I don't think these quarterbacks are going to always have that kind of time in the pocket, but it's nice to see what they can do when they do have time. Let's see. Zero to Hero says neither are worth the money. Let's see. Now look at that run by Taylor. He's got some burst to him. I'm telling you, these running backs, they are out here playing for carries. They know in the regular season what they're doing right now. Bill Belichick's going to remember that. And so these guys are playing for the opportunity to get more carries and stuff and fighting for that depth chart spot. Let's see. JC's getting a lot of picks, but he struggles in zone. Hey, my man JC does get a lot of interceptions, and that's one thing I do love about him, because you do know if you're the second corner, they're going to be, especially if Gilmore's on the other side, they're going to pick on you more times than not. So the opportunities to take advantage of your coverage, yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities because teams are going to draw game plans up to go out after you. But yeah, those two, I like having those two in the secondary. And so I wish that, we can get them back, but at the right price. But yeah, if not, then we're really going to have to figure out what we're going to do with the cornerback position. But knowing Bill, he can coach him up. Like, I saw this man take Lee Bowden when he came over from the Browns years ago. Lee Bowden, you may not remember him, but he came over and he was considered to be an average cornerback at best. And Bill Belichick really found a way to utilize him a lot. So Bill Belichick, he really knows how to coach up the secondary, and he gets a lot out of these guys. A lot. I mean, you might remember guys like Hank Petit, guys that throughout everywhere else they went, they weren't nothing, but when they was with the Patriots, they were somebody. Let's see. Old Man Mob says we should use Stevenson as a fullback. Can you imagine Cam Harris? Hey, if the Patriots don't use that, I may use that on Madden because that's actually a very great idea. As Mac Jones throws it, will it be a touchdown? Come on, get in the end. Okay. That's not going to get in the end zone. But man, I wanted him to get that touchdown, for Mac Jones. Give him a touchdown up there. But man, Mac Jones, he didn't score last week, did he? I know Justin Fields, he scored. I know Trey Lance, he scored. But Mac Jones didn't score a touchdown last week, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could have just forgotten. But here we are at the goal line, 1st and goal. Mac Jones looking, he throws, incomplete. Oh, man, I know they want to give him that touchdown. Let's see. Old Man Mob says JC isn't the true number one yet, but we should keep him. We have to keep him, and you're right. I don't think he's that number one yet. I think he excels at his role. He's a really good two-corner. Really good two-corner. He can get you some turnovers, especially when you need him the most, but – yeah, he's not that number one. When you think of a number one corner, you want a guy that's a lockdown type of corner. Your number two corner can be that more optimistic, create turnovers. As Stevenson powers it in for a touchdown. Again, I mean, my goodness, he is making a case. If there was such a thing as the preseason MVP award, he'd be making a strong case for that award. I mean, he is looking all the bit out there. Let's see. Any cornerback looks good under Bill. We always have a Pro Bowl corner, Gilmore, Butler, Darrelle Revis. You're right about that. We always have a Pro Bowl cornerback on our roster. You're right about that. Even prior to that, guys like Asante Samuels. When Asante Samuels came in, I mean, yeah, he really was like, a 5th-round pick out of Central Florida, I believe. And, yeah, Bill took him in and made this man Pro Bowl to replace because we had just lost Ty Law in the secondary, because Ty Law, he wanted money. We wasn't going to pay him that money. So ultimately he ended up leaving. And then Asante Samuels came. And then even from there, I mean, Bill does a fantastic job of coaching up these cornerbacks. We can go throughout, ever since he's been there, just every cornerback that he's had back there, Bill knows how to coach them up in the secondary. No doubt about that. So you're right about that. I mean, he put, what was that guy? I forget his first name. I think was it Randall Gay? The rookie, well, he was a rookie at that time where he was guarding Terrell Owens in the Super Bowl when the Eagles and Patriots played the first time. And yeah, I mean, that was it worked out to be a brilliant move because we know T.O. was coming off of a serious injury, but Bill knows what he's doing. The only time that I ever questioned Bill's decision when it came to the secondary was when he sat Malcolm Butler and we ended up losing that Super Bowl. Like, I don't know why he did that. I still would like to have an answer, but I'm not going to question Bill because he's Bill. Let's see. Old Man Mob states how Revis was already a top 3 corner before coming to New England. Everyone else, you agree? Hey, you're right about that. I will say I do remember around the time that we picked up Darrelle Revis, the only reason why Revis came to us for the most part was that, 1, to get that championship. 2, I think he was coming off of some type of an injury, but he was already he wasn't the same guy that he was with the Jets, but he was damn near close to it. So it's just a matter of him being able to go out there and take advantage of that. So let's see. Oh, snap. I was so busy talking, I didn't even realize that Norton actually made the extra point. So it's about time. But yeah, 32 to 0, guys. And we're just in the third quarter. I mean, I guess at this point, we should just be like, are the Patriots going to score in the 40s? Are they going to score in the 50s? Will Brian Hoyer go out there and throw 2 touchdowns? Stuff like that. But yeah, the Patriots have really taken care of business in this one. And as for the Eagles, I mean, if Jalen Hurts goes out there and he does not perform at a high level, then yeah, the Eagles, they could be looking at scores like this throughout the regular season. I mean, they have to play like they're going to need Jalen Hurts to really go out there and play some inspiring football, I think, to help this team if they want to contend for the division. But it's going to be really hard this upcoming season. My personal opinion on what type of season the Eagles are going to have. But, I mean, they've got some work to do. But a new coach, new culture, we'll see how that works out. Let's see. Is Mac Jones out yet? They better have Mac Jones out. I mean, last we saw he was still in on that touchdown drive, but you have to assume that now's the time to go ahead and put him. We saw enough from him at this point. He's gotten 19 passes in already, going 13 of 19. We've seen enough of him. Led a touchdown drive. All right, let's go ahead and put Brian Hoyer in the game now. Let's see. Zero to Hero says he hopes that Mac keeps playing. Let him get better. At some point, he's going to – ooh, I thought he was about to get another turnover there. I mean, these guys are flocking to the ball. I will say that. There's been a lot of tip drills taking place in practice on the defensive side. That's for sure. Let's see. Zero to Hero says that Hurts, sucks. He relies on his legs and play action to do well. Play action is a big part of this man's game, and I know they're going to want to run some RPOs and stuff. And yeah, I mean, do I think that he's the answer for the Eagles? I hope that he can show me different, but I don't think that he is. And I honestly don't think when they drafted him to be the answer. I think they got caught up in the draft hype because honestly, it felt like, like a lot of people were talking about, like he might be someone that gets drafted in the 4th or 5th round and then turn out to have second, first round potential. But that only works out for a quarterback if he comes in and he's a 5th, 4th round pick, so he doesn't have those high expectations and he can continue to sit for about 3-4 years before he actually gets called out there, and then he learns the system, have time to grow. But no, he was thrown into the fire because Carson Wentz at that time, he's like too much for him. He stopped talking to the coach, stopped communicating, so they put Jalen Hurts in, and he's been thrown in the fire, and yeah, just not the best situation for Jalen Hurts. Let's see. Old Man Mob says time to pull him. Don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. Yeah, definitely feel you there. Definitely feel you there on that one. But man, these Eagles, and this is the dress-up game. I mean, this is the game where you really take a hard look at your starters and stuff, because next week, being week 3, is going to be the final week of the preseason games. And so that's mostly for the guys that's going to be trying to make the roster at that point. But we've seen some good stuff here from the Patriots and their quarterbacks. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, there's a lot that they can work on. But the good news for them is that this is just the preseason. So you never read too much into the preseason. The preseason is just that, preseason. Let's see. Zero to Hero says Jordan Love is looking good. Hope we don't regret not picking him. Yeah, Jordan Love, I hope it – well, I know that his shoulder isn't nothing that's, serious and stuff like that. But in terms of his potential, I know that the Green Bay Packers, he has to work out for them, considering the relationship thing and the issues that it has caused so far with Aaron Rodgers. But, hey, they still got Aaron Rodgers again. But we'll see how that pans out in terms of his career. But I do like, his odds of being a great quarterback once it is his turn. I know that he was working out over the summer. Both him and Justin Fields were working out with Deshaun Watson. And so, I mean, in terms of just on the field stuff, there's a lot that they can learn in terms of just playing the quarterback position and how to utilize having that ability to be on the run and scramble, but still at the same time, be a pass-first quarterback, because that's how you make it in this league. You're a pass-first quarterback, and then you can sprinkle in some runs here and there when you have to, or either use it to help you extend the play, but you got to be pass-first so you don't take those unnecessary hits. Let's see the Sport Blitz. He says that the Patriots are really dominating here. Yeah, that's no surprise. I don't think that anybody on here is really surprised that the Patriots are dominating like that. I mean, I'm just saying here, but no, I mean, really, it just started from the simple fact that, early in the game when the Eagles made that first mistake, it kind of reminds you when we watched the Broncos and Vikings play last Saturday. And man, that was a tough one to stream. That game felt like it was taking forever because it was so one-sided. But yeah, ever since the Vikings had turned that ball over when I forget that kid's name, Jacob Browning. Yeah, Jacob Browning threw that interception that was taken to the house by Patrick Surtain Jr. By the way, he's already looking like a good pick right there for the Broncos. But when he took that one to the house early on in that game was a wrap. After that, Vikings never recovered. Kellen Mond, he was out there. I feel so bad for Kellen Mond. Out of all the rookie quarterbacks who I've seen play, I felt like he was under the most pressure. I felt like he couldn't even, before he can fake the ball to the running back, the defense was already on him, could barely get the handoff to a running back or play action fake. It was not looking good at all down there in Minnesota for that offensive line at all. Let's see. Old Man Mob says that Mac Jones and Justin Fields, he says, in my opinion, are the best quarterback out of the draft so far. I felt like those two went to the best scenarios, in my opinion, and I'm super high on both of these quarterbacks. And as a Patriots fan, I really wanted them to – I really felt like Mac Jones had to either end up with the Patriots or if he slid down to the Saints or something like that. I felt like those were the two best scenarios. Possibly the Broncos situation could have been something, but – yeah, but if Justin Fields, though, Justin Fields, I wanted him because obviously me being an Ohio State fan, that would have just meant the world to me. But, hey, I was just as happy getting Mac Jones as well. But, yeah, I felt like those two, they're in the best situations now. Trevor Lawrence, he's in a situation where if he gets the call, there's a real opportunity where he might go out there and he might struggle. He might struggle. But, hey, if you look back to last year's draft, let's think about last year's rookies. The first quarterback taken, Joe Burrow, he went to, you could say, the worst situation because he went to the worst team that had the worst record, the year before that. And so he, even though it wasn't, as much of a sample size, but still, he didn't go out there and have the success of someone of a Justin Herbert who went to a better team, better talent around him. Although Cincinnati does have some nice weapons, looking at their offense, if they can stay healthy this upcoming season and protect Joe Burrow and not, let him take too many hits. But, yeah, so ultimately you saw how that worked out in the favor of the quarterback that's taken second or third. So, therefore, that's how things sometimes work out. But, yeah, both of these quarterbacks, they look really good. I feel so bad for Zach Wilson, though, because I feel like he's in a situation where if he doesn't go out there and just have an MVP caliber season, it's going to be a rough season for him down there in New York. So I hope that he has the mental toughness to withstand a potential rough season. Let's see. The Sports Blitz says, yeah, it makes me really hope J.C. Horn plays well. Yeah, J.C. Horn, hey, that's another good one. I love the way that he's aggressive, his aggressiveness, his toughness. Definitely do. Hey, there's some good corners in this draft, but I felt like there's probably about 3 corners, and J.C.'s one of them, that you really, if you were looking for a cornerback in this draft, you had to make sure that you take. Now, I haven't really watched Asante Samuels Jr. play yet, but I can't wait till I do get to see him and how he does at the cornerback position, as that's someone that was personally my favorite cornerback heading into this because, hey, his father was Asante Samuels, so definitely kept an eye out on him. Let's see. Zero to Hero says, I hope Max starts early in the next game. Giants defense would be a good test for him. How do we always end up playing the Giants in the preseason? We get one less preseason game and we're still playing the Giants. I hope he lights them up. At that point, yeah, just light up the Giants. Let's leave it at that. I hope he does start. Hope he just lights them up. And, yeah, let's do that. Let's see. I like this. Let's see. I feel like this quarterback class, we're all first-round quarterbacks end up doing well. Yeah, if you guys can really think back, when was the last time that we had a strong last year's quarterback class I felt was pretty good as well. I feel like all of them that was taken in the first round are going to succeed as well. But to have this many first-round quarterbacks, and I feel like they're all in position where they're going to end up succeeding. Now, some will be, their team will find a success with them. Others, you look at a Zach Wilson, it might take some time before he's able to actually reach the point to where he can go out there and reach his full potential just because of where the Jets are right now. But that's not a knock on Zach. That's a knock on where the Jets are right now. But obviously, they're doing everything they can to make some changes. It's going to take a little bit of time to build that together. We saw with Cleveland, they, took them a couple years, before they reached this point. Well, more than a couple years, it felt like, but still to reach that point. So let's just see if it takes the Jets that long, because they're in a tough division right now where the Bills, Pats, Dolphins, they look like they're going to be contending for years to come. So the Jets got some ground to make up. And Taylor with the handoff there gains about a good 2 yards on that one. Let's see, the Sports Blitz says he agrees with 0. All right, and let's see, the Sport Blitz says that I was really high on Asante Samuel. Yeah, Asante Samuel. When you were evaluating this past class and you're looking on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like you can get a lot of value, but you didn't have to get these guys in the first round unless you were looking for someone like a Patrick Surtain, obviously Amika Parsons if you were early in the draft. But there's a reason why these guys waited longer than normal to come off the board, because a lot of these guys, they're going to be good, but you could have gotten them a little later in the draft, like, for example, in Asante Samuel Jr., someone else that you could have gotten later in the draft. And so that's just how the draft board's lined up, because whenever you have a draft where you have this many first-round quarterbacks and stuff, that's going to bump some people back. It really did. And we see Taylor out there with the nice spin for these Patriots. He's got a nice spin move to him. All right, so now we get to see Hoyer throws the ball. What a nice strike. My goodness, these quarterbacks, they are working hard out there. I will say that for the Patriots. These quarterbacks are looking really good. Let's see. Yeah, it makes sense. I had Samuel higher than Caleb Farley. You know what? I had the same thing, and no knock against Caleb Farley and his situation down there in Tennessee, but yeah, that's going to be a tough one right there. It's going to be a very tough one. But you do know it with the offense that Tennessee has, quite frankly, their goal is to get the lead and try to run out the clock. But teams that are playing catch up, they're going to be looking to throw the ball in his direction. So he better bring it early on. Otherwise, it can end up looking pretty long, like a couple corners that we've seen over the last couple of years that's been, put in situations where there's not a lot of pass rush. And so they've been struggling because the pass rush, when you don't have pass rush, it sets your team up for failure. I feel like that's what hurt Tennessee's defense last year, especially when you think about the defensive backs. They ended up letting 3 of their 4 defensive backs just walk after the season, when really, in all reality, their front 5, they didn't generate pressure at a high level. And these guys have forever to throw the ball against the Titans. And so that secondary ended up taking the blame for it. And as a defensive back, you need a pass rush to make the quarterback throw the ball quick, because you can only guard that guy for so long. Let's see. Old Man Mob says, don't let old man Hoyer get hot. Hey, Hoyer's trying to show y'all he's different. The man even went out there and changed his number to try to confuse some of y'all and tell you that he's not the same old Hoyer that we used to seeing throughout the years. He's not rocking that number 2 jersey no more. No, he's wearing number 5 now. And so but yeah, old man, he has definitely been out there for quite some time. And just want to take this time to thank each and every person that's watching this stream. I mean, hey, if you're watching the game at this point and it's 32-0, that means you guys really love football. So definitely do consider subscribing to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Best way to stay up to date when I do a lot of sport news, sport contents, and when I do these live streams. If you press that notification button, you will be notified of when these streams will be taking place. As Brian Hoyer drops back and throws it, and incomplete. Who did he throw that one to? I didn't get a good look at that. But yeah, so definitely do consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed to the channel already. We've seen such growth here through the channel, and I really appreciate that, you guys. I mean, it's so much fun. And it's starting to look like a possibility that I may just be able to reach 1,000 subscribers this year. And so I'm definitely going to need you guys to help me reach that goal. I mean, definitely that is something that I really want to do. And I invest a lot of time in making sure that I try to find ways to improve the channel up late at night, or either just, getting ready for these streams. And you guys are going to see a lot. I'm telling you, when the regular season starts, I'll start doing some more of my player analysis. That's what I really started doing when I first started my channel. The very first couple of videos that I posted outside of my intro was just me going through looking at a lot of stats and just, doing a lot of pregame predictions and stuff. So you guys are going to start seeing content like that once the regular season hits as well. So it's going to be a great regular season. That is for sure. So I'll leave that up there for a minute. But yeah, I mean, in this one so far, I mean, the Patriots, they really came out and we've seen some good passing. And that's what, as a fan, that's what I wanted to see as JJ goes out there. And what a nice move. I mean, that run blocking has been really great. Really great. Yeah. These Eagles, they're going to go back and they're going to be, they realize they got a lot of work to do. I mean, you just literally spent all week practicing with the same team, doing your team versus team scrimmages and stuff. And and then you let one team come out and just dominate you like this. You got to have some pride at this point. And this is where you see where a team's pride is. When the score is so one-sided, you really have to see where a team's how do they respond in these situations, especially since these guys know that, we're still going to see more players get cut. I know that they went from 90 to 85, and so they know more cuts are coming. So these guys are saying right now they're playing for their NFL careers. See Joe Flacco on the sideline. But yeah, I'll ask you guys this question. Which preseason game are you guys looking forward to watching the most over this weekend? I know we've got a slew of preseason games, and obviously with this being the second week under the new structure, that means that we're going to have an opportunity to see a lot more starters play. So tell me, which preseason games are you guys looking forward to seeing the most? I mean, me personally, the first one that comes to mind is honestly watching the Bears versus the Bills. That's one that I'm really looking forward to seeing. See how Justin Fields can do against that, Bills defense, but also Andy Dalton. How's he going to look against Buffalo's defense? Because Buffalo is a very tough defense. They've only gotten better this year. They spent a lot of their early draft picks on some defensive linemen, so they're going to be ready. All right, so Stevenson, near the goal line, he's been so good near the goal line, and so the Eagles were definitely waiting for him on that one. All right, so Old Man Mob says that he thinks that the Eagle player believes in head coach because this is this is crazy. You don't think the Eagles players believe in the head coach? Well, I like to hope that they believe in him since he just got there. But I mean, you may be right, honestly. I mean, there's not a lot of disappointment or anything. They're just looking with blank stares. As Brian Hoyer does what he does best and threw the ball away. Make the veteran move. Throw the ball away. I hear you, Brian. If anything, he's giving Norton a chance to go out there and try to get another field goal to make, what was a terrible kicking day look not so bad. But there really wasn't nothing there. Really wasn't nothing there. Let's see. Old Man Mob says the Bears versus the Bills, and hopefully Bears win. I'm going to save all that energy for the regular season, but I'm with you. I want to see the Bears win that one. I want to see Justin Fields go out there and have that a 2-touchdown game, preferably both passing. And this time Norton gets it to go through. I feel like when Norton kicks, it's almost like a wheel of you never know where it's going to go. It can go anywhere. It's just a matter of, whether it goes in or not. But it literally can go anywhere when he kicks the ball. Let's see. Yeah, but what a game so far it's been. The Patriots, they have scored in every single quarter, and obviously the Eagles haven't scored in any. But you've seen some positive stuffs out there. You've seen some stuff that both teams need to continue to work on. The Patriots, when it comes to obviously the kicking game, but we know Nick Foles, he's a little banged up right now. But when it comes to run blocking, that's definitely an area. I mean, pursuing the run, I should say, especially with the interior. That's something that I'm going to have to continue to watch, especially as we go into the third preseason game. I know there's not going to be a lot of starters playing, but that's certainly an area that we're going to have to make sure the Patriots are pretty solid on. Because as you guys mentioned earlier, they have games where they're out there, they run for 7 yards, or either the first down, or either we'll stop them at the line of scrimmage. But it doesn't seem like we're getting any 2-3 yard carries. It's either stop them at the line of scrimmage or they get the first down or 7 yards. And so can't have that as a defense now. But other than that, everything's been looking pretty positive right now. I trust in Bill Belichick. He knows what he's doing. He's an excellent coach. Excellent coach. He knows how to drop the X's and the O's. And having Matt Patricia back, that's big as well, because Bill Belichick really trusts Matt Patricia, and Matt Patricia knows what Bill Belichick is thinking a lot, especially on that defensive side. And so, yeah, now when the day does come that Bill Belichick does step down, I do hope that Josh McDaniels is the one that takes over rather than Matt Patricia. But Matt Patricia, he's a one heck of a defensive coordinator. And the Patriots, we're lucky to have him back as a defensive coordinator. I keep emphasizing defensive coordinator because that's the only role that I want to see him back as. That I can understand assistant head coach, but not the head coach. Let's see. So this means that the Eagles are going to drop to 0-2 in the preseason. Now it's preseason, so it doesn't matter. That's the good part about this for Eagle fans, that it's just the preseason, so they've already forgotten about it already, probably. But yeah, that's a positive there, is that it's just the preseason. They have Elijah Holyfield out there. I didn't know that he was on the Eagles roster, the former Georgia running back. Let's see. The Sport Blitz says, man, this is a bloodbath. Hey, the Patriots are looking like sharks out there. They smell the blood. They want to go in for the kill. And Bill Belichick does not want to see this third string defense out there. I'll say third string. He don't want to see his third stringers give up any points. If he does, he's going to have them watching film over and over and over. He's not going to let that happen. So they're going to go out there and they want to pitch a shutout. Even though this game doesn't count, this is where you develop a lot of habits. And so, yeah, they want to pitch a shutout. Heck, I want them to at this point. You put in the work this long, might as well finish it. Let's see. In Mullins, he throws. All right, that'll be about a good 4 yards there. Let's see. Old Man Mob says, would Steve Belichick be a good head coach? Ooh. Would he be a good head coach? I honestly have not seen enough in terms of I know that he has obviously a good role there. And you look at some of the other head coaches, whose sons have excelled. You think of the whole Mike and Kyle Shanahan and stuff. So is it possible? Yes, but I don't feel that we're at that point yet. He still needs to develop before we reach that point. Could he reach that point by the time that Bill Belichick steps away? Probably. I hope that Bill coaches forever, honestly. Like stay forever, Bill. There's no need to retire. There's no such thing as getting old. If you're breathing, that's good enough reason alone to come out there and coach for the Patriots. So, yeah, Bill, never leave. That's how you handle that. Just don't leave us, Bill Belichick. Just continue to coach us forever. Or at least coach us as long as Nick Saban is. I don't know who's older there, but let's see. The Sport Blitz says, I don't think so. I don't think he's as good as his dad. Oh, definitely he wouldn't be as good as his dad. I mean, but he's not alone. There's a lot of people that's not as good as GOAT Belichick. And yes, I'll say GOAT Belichick. But but you know what? He doesn't have to replicate his father's success to be a good head coach, especially as long as he can keep the system. It really comes down to one thing. If the players respect him on the same level as a Bill Belichick, because a lot of what Bill Belichick does when his disciples go out there and try to replicate that, because it's so based on players respecting you, trusting you, because you're asking guys with egos to leave the ego at the door, come inside and really just be all about the team. When he brought, you think about the guys who Bill Belichick had brought in, a lot of those guys, they were like, you know what, Bill, for you, sure, I'll go ahead and adjust this because I trust you at the end of the day. And it works out, whether we're talking about a contract situation and guys probably taking less money to, remain with the team. We saw Brady do it for so long, but that's because he had the trust in Bill Belichick. If I'm going to take less money, that's because I believe that you're going to definitely get me a championship out of it. Otherwise, no, we're not having that conversation. So if the players have the same type of respect for him, that goes a long way. Bill O'Brien did not have that respect with the Houston Texans. That's why he failed. Mike Vrabel, he has a high level of respect from his team. They play hard for him. Now, I don't think he goes out there and tries to replicate what Bill Belichick did. He was smart enough to realize that that's really hard. That's really hard to do. And coaches that do that, they don't succeed. And so I would not be able to really confirm or deny whether or not Steve Belichick will be a good head coach. I just want to say that I hope we don't have to find that out anytime soon. Yes, the old man Miles says if the Eagles score, Bill's going to have the defense running laps. He might just call a timeout and just have them run in between that timeout and stuff, like have them run and then tell half of them like, all right, y'all cut. Like, yeah. But yeah, so Bill Belichick, he understands. Like I want y'all to go back to the Patriots history, probably about, I think it was the 2003 season, if I'm not mistaken, the 2002 or 2003 season. I think 2003 season. Patriots in week 2 was playing the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo beat the brakes off of them. They had Drew Bledsoe, Lawyer Malloy. They were fired up. They beat the Patriots 31-0. Last game of the season, I think. Patriots played the Bills again, this time in New England. Patriots went out there, beat them 31-0, and Bill Belichick was coaching, not just to win the game, but he remembered that 31-0 beating that they gave the Patriots, and so he dished it back out. And it was a very long time since the Bills beat them again after that. And so, but yeah, Bill Belichick, he remembers stuff. And so, and he's definitely one that has pride when it comes to don't let a team score. If you played this hard for so long, finish the job. That's what he wants, guys that can finish and play situational football. Let's see. Old man Mob says 100% agree with what I said about Steve Belichick. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because it's very possible. I mean, he's around his dad, and what father wouldn't teach their son some of the X's and O's? But to be able to replicate it is one thing, but to have the respect of the players, that's an entirely different thing right there in terms of just having the respect of the players, and that goes a long way. If the team respects you, they'll go out their way. They'll take, less money to stay. Think about what Tampa did to keep their team together. Because they saw the success they had winning the Super Bowl, not just because of BA, but mostly because of Tom Brady, and they wanted to play with Tom Brady. That's why you've seen guys like, Chris Godwin, who probably would have left if it wasn't for a guy like Tom Brady being there. He's like, all right, I'll take less money for the team, or take the franchise for the team. And then other guys taking a little bit less money to come back and run it back. So having the respect as a head coach is just as important as the X's and O's, because you can be the best coach there is, but if they don't believe in you, it ain't going to work. It just won't work. It's Angel, thank you so much for joining the stream. Glad to have you here. And yeah, you showed up to pretty much watch the rest of what was a beatdown in this game, 35-0. I mean, ever since the first drive on the Eagles, I think it was like the third or fourth play of the game, they lined up in a shotgun ball, like the center just snapped the ball way over Joe Flacco's head. He tried to pick it up and run with it, lost it again, and the Patriots picked it up, and they have never given the Eagles any hope ever since then. Now, sure, it's the preseason, but Cam Newton, he was great. He went 8 of 9 passes, threw a touchdown, and then Mac Jones came in. He was superb. His passing on the night, he was 13 of 19, 146 yards, and now we get to see old man Hoyer, Brian Hoyer, out there trying to do something for the Patriots and trying to get his name in, I guess, the preseason record book. Because, I mean, who's taking more preseason snaps than Brian Hoyer at quarterback for the Patriots? I wonder what is that actual record. Like, who? Like, I know it doesn't matter, but I wonder who has taken the most snaps, in preseason throughout the course of Patriots history at the quarterback position. That would be interesting. The unsung records that we never know. Let's see. Yes, the Angel says that the Eagles finna be worse in the league this year. I don't know about that now. I don't know about that one. I mean, for any Detroit fan watching, you might want to cover your ears here, but I mean, the Detroit Lions, I mean, Jared Goff plus no weapons at all. If he wasn't good with the weapons he had down there with the Rams, and then you take away those weapons, oh, man. Whew. I'm trying to think what's a game that Detroit can play. I mean, does anybody know if Detroit plays maybe Houston this year, possibly? I'm trying to think of teams that are beatable for the Houston Texans. Not the Houston Texans, the Detroit Lions this upcoming year. Because everybody else in the division, they've got playoff aspirations. And so in order for Detroit to win a game, yeah, that's going to be tough. So I would not say the Eagles are going to be that bad, like on that level. I wouldn't say that. No. Will they qualify for a top 10 draft pick again next year? Well, yeah, that should be the case. But yeah, in terms of competing with the Lions for that first pick, Lions, we'll see how Tyrod Taylor does with Houston. But if he doesn't, yeah, it'll probably be between Detroit and Houston in terms of just first pick. Throw the Jets in there again as well. Yeah, just some of the teams that they're probably going to be looking forward to the year after that. But overall, you never know. You just never know until you know. And so we'll see what these teams have. But obviously, they still have some time to get ready for the season. These guys got a lot of pride. And so they believe in themselves. And that's the most important part, is that they got to believe in themselves. And then from there, do they believe enough in the X's and the O's? Will they believe these coaches put them in the best situation? Because a lot of times, you'll have a player go to a new team and then they end up being in the wrong scheme. Like I'll never forget Albert Hainsworth when he left the Tennessee Titans and took that money from the Washington football team at that time. I was thinking like, oh man, this guy is an amazing defensive tackle. And that's true. He was an amazing defensive tackle, but he was a horrible nose tackle. Horrible nose tackle. He did not like the idea of playing nose tackle at all, and no amount of money was going to make him want to play what Washington wanted him to play. So it's important to utilize players how they are best, how they want to be used, because otherwise if they don't want to be used that way, then you're not going to get their best in terms of efforts. But yeah, you got to set guys up in positions to succeed. And that's one thing that Bill Belichick does a tremendous job of doing, especially for defensive players. And Josh McDaniels does that too for the offense, putting guys in positions that they can succeed. What a nice stop there by these Patriots defense, I'm telling you. As Angel says that, yeah, Jared has no O-line. Yeah, it's going to be a long year for him. It's going to be a long year for him. Oh, I tell you what, though, I will say this, though. If he can go out there and maybe throw a good 26 to 28 touchdowns and keep the interceptions at about 14, 15-ish, then, maybe Detroit doesn't have to use those first-round pick on a quarterback, and they can continue to build things for the rest of this team. That's what they probably should do. Work on the offensive line first. Build the offensive line up, and then, work your way out. If you're Detroit, start with the offensive line. Make sure that that's solid. I know they already started this year with their first-round pick, and that's a great kid out of Oregon. I believe that he's from Oregon. But, yeah, continue on that path. Build the best offensive line you can. And then, by then you'll develop a couple receivers that you'll want to keep on the roster and stuff. You've already got Swift back there, but by the time this team is ready, Swift may not be the lead back anymore back there because it may take so long. But, yeah, they've got to find a way because, if you think about throughout the history of the NFL, teams that have been around for as long as Detroit, and for them not to have a Super Bowl appearance, I really feel for the Detroit fan base, honestly. And that's one team that if they ever, have a good year, you can't help but root for them. Even if you're a team that's, in their division, you can't help but root for Detroit if they go out there and have a great season one year. You just got it. I feel like that's a must. But yeah, the Eagles, they're able to get this first down here, Holyfield, 20 yards. Remind you of his days back there at Georgia. Let's see, they throw it out the backfield again to him. And he powers forward for a yard on that one. And that's going to be second down. So will the Eagles be able to score? Let me know in the chat section right now if you guys think the Eagles are going to score on this possession. We're going to have to find some way to make this as entertaining as possible. So let me know in the chat section right now if you guys think the Eagles are going to be able to score on this possession. Let's see who's right and let's see who's not. Let's see, they hand the ball on the backfield. Oh, man, Met in the backfield. Met in the backfield. And it's going to be third down. So these Eagles want to get on the scoreboard. They're definitely going to have to pick up some yards here. They need 11 yards for the first down. Let's see, 3rd and 11, about 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Lining up in the shotgun, Patriots going to blitz. He throws it up, and it is incomplete. No penalties on that play. So great coverage, and we are going to see it be 4th down. Great stop there by the Patriots. Yep. Old man Mom says, nah, the defense got this. Let's see, it's 4th and 11. Yeah, the Patriots, Patriots defense look like they got this in the bag. But let's see if there's some way that the Eagles can try to get something on the board. Crazier things have happened. Oh, man, Mullen just held that, and he just took another hit. That's been the theme all game long. I was about to say, you better not spike that ball because they will call you for taunting. I'm surprised they didn't call him for just doing the motion of taunting because you know how strict they've gotten with that taunting rule. So you got to be careful of that. But what a play there. Yeah, so these Eagles, there is a flag. Got 2 flags. Well, that's one way to move the ball. And those Eagle fans, they're happy about that. They're fired up. I'll give them that. But yeah, I mean, I still think like the Eagles are going to be competitive this upcoming season. I mean, the division that they're in, there's no reason why they should be eliminated come week 14, week 15. They should still. What an interception! Oh man, when it rains, it pours. Right now, I mean, my goodness. Oh man, come on! I was about to say, like, they're going to call some type of taunting if you do anything. I don't even know what they qualify as taunting anymore. What is the difference these days between taunting and celebrating? Like, I know what it is, but I don't know if the referees know what it means anymore. But what a play. And it's been that way all game long for the Patriots. Sometimes you step on the field and everything that can go right, it does go right for you. We all have those games. Just so happens that tonight it seems to be the Patriots' day. And yeah, for Mullen, this is a game that he's going to want to forget. He probably wishes that it just ended the play before in terms of just take the incompletion rather than throw an interception. Stevenson with the carry again. Look at that. Look at that. How he was able to use his fullback. He timed it right, followed his fullback, didn't outrun his fullback. He used the block properly, cut in, gained an extra 2-3 yards, stuff that goes unnoticed. But that was absolutely brilliant right there. I love watching this young kid run. This is really impressive, really. I think he's going to have a great year for the Patriots this upcoming season. And this is what we need for the Patriots, honestly. I mean, you want to make sure that you don't have to ask one running back to do too much. You want to be able to spread the wealth. And a nice carry there for the first. You can tell the way that Bill Belichick is using them that he really likes this kid a lot. Let's see. Old man Mob says NFL refs going to become NBA refs. If they think you did something wrong, flag. Please don't reach that status. NBA refs, if they think you did something wrong, that's a flag. If you looked at them and they think that you looked at them wrong, that's a flag. If they thought that you thought about doing something that was wrong, that's a flag. If the other person does some type of a reaction that looks like you may have done something wrong, that's a flag. They have the shoot first, ask questions later mentality in the NBA. But yeah. Well, I must say, as a Patriots fan, I found this game to be pretty entertaining. But hey, though, I do feel for the Eagles fans, though. I didn't want it to be this one-sided, though. I thought it was going to be a little bit more competitive than that. When I found out that Jalen Hurts wasn't going to play in this game, then, yeah, that was, yeah. But, I mean, you still got to go out there, and you never know, especially with all injuries, COVID, lots of different scenarios to account for this NFL season, the extra game. So you're going to need for your backups to be ready to go and capable of coming into the game and playing. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys come in and get hurt. And just look at what took place today at the Jets, in their camp. 2 guys going down with season-ending injuries and stuff. That's just absolutely wild. Or at least I know one of them for sure has season-ending injury. But if both of them are confirmed, then, yeah, these are season-ending injuries. So you never know when guys start going down. And if your team starts to get hard, gets hit hard like the 49ers got hit last year with injuries. And so you always need backup players that can come in and keep things afloat. So that's why I'm always paying attention to backup players and what they bring to the table, because that's one thing you're really going to have to know as things continue to progress. Let's see. Old Man Mob says that's one thing. Our running backs are great. They're just injury prone. Yeah, injuries. Yeah, but that's why you have to have a lot of them, because I think about when you think of teams that have great depth at running back, just like over the last couple of seasons. You think of a team think of last year's 49ers team. If you look at the running backs that they had a pretty solid running back group, and because like most of their running backs are injury prone, some weeks you'll have the starter out there. Other weeks it may be the second running back, the third running back, and so forth. Like I believe one time there was about 4 running backs deep in terms of the depth chart having to start. And so when you have injuries happen like that, you got to have depth like this. But one thing I will say, it does keep the running back room very engaged. And when they do get a carry, they're going to run extremely hard because they understand the situation. Just because Damian Harris starts the game, that doesn't mean he's going to finish the game. Bill Belichick's going to run the hot hand. If Stevenson gets hot, then by the time that third quarter comes, he's going to get most of the carries in that third quarter. If Sony Michel goes out there and breaks a big 60-yard run, then he's going to start getting some opportunities later in the game. And when you have that reward system in place, then sky's the limit. You still got James White, and obviously what he brings on the third down, or just, line up in the shotgun, utilize him, or you want to go big, put both Harris and Stevenson in the backfield aside from Cam, and let the defense try to decide who's going to get the ball. So many ways to go about this. As we see Brian Hoyer out there taking the knee, I believe that's going to be his signature play one day. Like if this man ever gets a statue, there's going to be a statue of Brian Hoyer taking the knee. It's got to be. Absolutely got to be. But what a performance here by the New England Patriots, guys. Look, this is even though it's a preseason game, so just, don't read too much into it, but you still got to go out there. And football is a game of execution, regardless of what's on the line, who's out there. It's about executing better than your opponent. And tonight, that's what we saw from the Patriots, execution. And I'll go ahead and take this moment as Brian Hoyer continues to take yet another knee to run out this clock. I'm thankfully to thank you guys so much for tuning in for this stream. It's been great. It's been fun. It's always good talking football with you guys. I'll definitely be streaming Saturday's games tomorrow. I'm not really sure if I'll be able to stream on Friday or not, but I'm for sure going to be streaming some games on Saturday. So make sure, if you haven't already, that you do subscribe, so therefore you will be notified when I set up that stream. If you're watching on Facebook, you guys will be notified as well. And do remember, if you guys ever want to participate in the chat, just, sign up on YouTube here, subscribe to the channel, be in the chat section, and just, let me know your thoughts throughout the game. This channel covers a bunch of different, teams. Basically, any team is possible in terms of being streamed and stuff. It's just a matter of, hey, just streaming at the right time throughout the regular season. I'll be streaming Monday night football games, Thursday night football games. It'll be sporadically throughout, Sunday in terms of how that's going to work on Sunday. But you guys will start to get a feel for it, but you got to make sure that you are subscribed, so therefore you guys will be notified. Appreciate that, Old Man Mob. Glad to have you here. It's always great to see you here, and I really appreciate it, as well as the support. And, yeah, we got to witness the Patriots go out there and give us another encouraging performance. Both quarterbacks, well, all 3 quarterbacks, they did really good tonight, whether we're talking about, Cam Newton going 8 of 9 out there, Mac Jones and what he did going 13 of 19, or even Brian Hoyer, and the way that he went out there, threw a couple passes and took a knee and handed the ball off. I mean, it's been great. But for both teams, good luck to them, throughout the rest of this preseason. They got one preseason game left, a lot of things to work on. A lot of guys are out there fighting for roster spots. We know that. And it's going to be one that is going to be very competitive. So emotions are going to be high. Dreams are going to be made, and some dreams are going to stumble. But all's the same, and wishing the best for all of these guys, and that none of them, get any serious injuries or anything like that. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming through for the stream. Really appreciate you guys so much. It's been great, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time, as I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. But everybody take care and have a great night, and see you guys next time.